Oh, hello, hello, hello. Hi, it's me, Doc Normal, and welcome to Coffee with the Curmudgeons. And I don't feel centered, but that's okay because I'm here with my co-host on Coffee with Curmudgeons. I am here with Connor McGregor. How you doing, Connor?
Good. Life outside of the ring isn't so hot at the moment. I've had to take on some extra side hustle, if you will. So, ladies, or I'm talking to the women of the house now, or anyone who's involved, I do have an Avon Sales and Mary Kay route in case you want to get involved. I got some good blush, got some mascara, and got even some funky kabuki stuff that could turn you into Kiss.
I have no idea what you are talking about.
I don't either.
It's actually Jason Allen because it says that on the thing.
It does. Yeah.
If I didn't say it, I wouldn't know.
Well, yeah, me either half the time. But
I was actually trying to find out here.
Yes.
I think Mr. McGregor was arraigned. So if you haven't been following this, when did this happen? Last night? Do you know?
I have no idea.
Okay. Yeah. There was a dust up.
Don't you love that? Don't you love my helping out there? So wasn't you arraigned last night? I have no idea.
I was just reading about this.
Yeah.
Conor McGregor, the fighter.
Yeah.
Tore the place apart. Yeah, I was just trying to see full court appearance. He appeared in court. So what happened is, what's the deal with it? This is a UFC.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And so the guy who runs the UFC, I can't remember his name. I should know his name. Dana White.
There you go. Dana. There you go.
On top today. They've got some big fights coming up.
Yeah.
And we actually have a solution for that we've come up with, by the way.
Yeah.
So, Dana, if you're out there, I think it's Dana White.
I believe you're right.
Alexa, who's the head of the UFC? Alexa, who's the head of the UFC?
Dana White is the president of Ultimate Fighting Championship.
There you go.
There you go. Alexa,
Sorry,
ringing in.
a little slow on the uptake today.
Yeah, it's a Friday. Jeez.
Alexa, scream like a monkey.
She's not going to do it.
You know what? I think really slow.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, this is not real time, not like us. Oh, because we could be your personal Alexa.
Ooh, I like that.
Jason?
Yeah.
Jason?
Yeah.
Scream like a monkey.
Ooh, I'll do it.
Jason, who is the head of the UFC?
Why, that would be Dana White.
All right, you're way quicker.
Thank you. Only because she said it first.
Humans. I know.
My thing is like, Jason, what is, yada, yada, yada. Ooh, can I get back to you on that? And then that would be my thing. I'm like 90% of that.
So there's a big UFC fighting.
Yeah.
Connor has like the two belts, lightweight, and super light or something. I don't know. He basically has two of the belt championships. Welterweight and light. I think
it's like middleweight.
Middleweight or something.
Yeah.
And so I think they got one. And then remember he did Mayweather.
He fought Mayweather.
Right.
Yes. Yeah.
Who won that? I can't remember anymore.
It wasn't even close. Mayweather didn't even really try. He just got out there and outboxed him for 12 rounds.
That's what I thought. I can remember. But anyway, so they've been having this thing about him fighting, and there is a fight that is for one of the belts. Yeah. And they took it away from him.
So stripped him.
Yeah. But then they keep saying, this Dana White guy keeps saying that they've been in talks, they're talking, and that that he's going to come back. He's been saying he's going to come back. They're talking, and Conor McGregor will go do some fights for, I don't know how it works, because it's like, I mean, he got those, and then I guess maybe he didn't come back to defend them, or see, this is where it gets unclear. You can listen to those massive amounts of UFC podcasts out there that are very popular.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know either, but I mean, not they're in talks, but I think the real talk in it is money talks. and obviously people aren't going to want to see whoever was going to step in for McGregor, you know. They probably ain't going to pay 60, 70, $80 for a pay-per-view for that. So I imagine.
I don't know. Well, anyway, so what happened was they had a media day for their thing.
Yeah.
And he shows up backstage with a bunch of his hooligans.
Oh boy!
And they had like a private bus full of the fighters and the people.
Yeah.
And there's actually video of this on YouTube.
Ooh.
Yeah, you can watch the YouTube. I mean, and as they say, melee ensued, and he threw like a hand truck through one of the windows and shattered the windows and injured a couple of the fighters. So a couple of the fights have been canceled.
Oh man!
So the New York Boxing Commission or Athletic Commission has canceled a couple fights. Said that those fighters are not fit. Like he cut a guy through this.
Yeah, that no bueno.
So he went crazy on him backstage after the event. Like it was like hooligan stuff. And
him and his soccer hooligans show up and they decided
that's exactly what it looked like.
Yeah.
And so a couple of the fights are canceled now. And then they canceled one fight, which was one of his a buddy of his, who they said was involved in instigating it. So they canceled his fight.
Gotcha.
And then they arrested him, and he just posted $50,000 bail.
Oh, Connor.
So yeah, so it's just I don't know. You know, the headlines are all over there.
Maybe he's trying to go to the WWE too.
Maybe so.
You know.
It's pretty crazy.
It worked for Ronda.
I thought he was kind of, I don't know, but whatever.
Yeah.
But so that's what's been going on in the sports.
Yeah.
Big excitement. But you can go up there and see these YouTube videos of them running around, you know, because they're getting in an elevator and then they're.
Yeah. Oh, Connor.
But there were some good quotes, and I wish.
Yeah.
I'm trying to. I don't know. I guess I didn't post it on my Facebook. There was some, or wherever. There was some fantastic quotes from this guy. So there's a one fight that they're apparently was going to determine the championship, the belt, or whatever. And it's this Khalid Gudinovnik. He's a big Russian guy.
Big Russian guy. Okay.
The quotes that they had from him were hilarious. It was basically his quotes were like, "We in New York City. Gangsters city. You come here. I meet you anywhere. On street corner. Connor, you come." Like literally these were I mean, I'm paraphrasing, but these were kind of the quotes.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I was reading these like in the New York Times or whatever, the reporting or ESPN, whatever it was, and I was like reading this guy's quotes, just hearing voice in head. Gangster.
I love that.
New York City. We meet on street corner.
That's right.
Be happy to.
Yeah.
Be happy to come at me.
Connor, you bring soccer hooligans, I bring Russian mob. Okay,
I know,
we meet on street corner. I give you borscht.
No. It would be like, you bring your hooligans, I bring Putin.
I bring Putin.
Huh?
Yeah, that would work. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
Next Saturday night, Las Vegas. Putin in the octagon.
And I'm sorry I don't have the quotes. I just I wish. I mean, there's so now they're talking about.
Yeah.
Here we go. Storm's Media Day.
We meet on corner. You bring soccer hooligans. I bring Russian mafia.
Oh, here's the video. Actually. Here's the video.
Oh. and a melee
good old
ensues.
good old cell phone video.
Oh yeah, everyone's got their cell phones up. Dude, look at that.
It's like they're backstage. But anyway.
Oh, Connor.
We'll probably get content. Oh, that's the content you did. Probably, but I don't know. Like I said, I wish I could have found the actual quotes from this guy. Look it up, and I can't remember his name. His first name's like Khalid, and then he's got a real Russian name.
Just big Russian guy.
And the quotes were very like broken English Russian. I mean, it was like we in city of the mob. You bring mob to me.
Was he better or worse than Ivan Drago from Rocky IV?
I don't know, man.
I break you.
I know. It was just. I'm just reading this out of a news report, and it's just the voice is in your head as you're reading this, and the quotes were just so good.
Putin tells me I must win. I either go from Dhaka to Gulag.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Oh.
The
Poor big Russian dude.
it'll be the I bring Satan too. Putin has given me Satan too. We meet on street corner. You bring your trident missile. I bring the Satan too.
Satan, yes.
I don't know.
You bring switchblade. He brings pitchfork.
I mean, Conor McGregor. I mean, this is great. This is Irish and Russian. Yeah.
Oh, jeez. Yeah. In one corner you got the Russian mafia,
Irish,
and in the other corner you got the IRA. You know.
I don't know.
The next thing you know.
But it's a food fodder.
So
we'll see. But I have a solution for it, though.
Yeah, yes.
I have an excellent solution because obviously now the UFC has canceled, I think it's 3 of their fights on the ticket.
And Doc, not a lot of people know this, but Coffee with Curmudgeons is all about solutions.
We make solution. You come on street corner, we make solution.
Problem schmablem.
It's just
Nothing can't be fixed. What
will happen will be Mueller will call us up and indict us.
Yeah.
For that Manafort, you had some Russian on there, some Russian accents. I don't know.
Yeah, hi. I'm calling the Coffee with Curmudgeons hotline. I understand you guys deal with Ukrainians.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no.
So what I think, so because trying to pull it up here because I need to find it. Oh, jeez. Oh, yeah, there it is. Okay, so these guys got injured in this fight. Yeah. There were 3 fights that are canceled off the ticket because 2 guys got injured and cannot fight, and then the 3rd guy, like I said, is apparently Conor's buddy, and they said, well, he helped instigate it and whatnot, and so they canceled. They themselves, the UFC, canceled that one. So they need some fights.
They do.
Yeah. I mean, they've got other fights on the ticket, but they need some fights.
Yeah.
So I have a solution.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Because on Twitter, it turns out the one and only Jimmy Kimmel.
Yes.
And the one and only Sean Hannity.
Ooh, I like where this is going.
Are in a Twitter fight as we speak.
Oh, so why settle it there online? Out there in the Twitterverse or whatever when you can.
I know, cage match.
There you go.
They got Jimmy Kimmel and Sean Hannity.
Oh, I'd love to see the commercial for that.
No, look, we're leading up to it. It's on Twitter right here. Let's go. Okay, so what this grudge match?
It's grudge.
Has started with was that Jimmy Kimmel, so the first lady, at Easter, like they do.
Oh, you mean with the other one with the Slavic Russian accent?
Yeah.
Big.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And Easter, like they do, they have the Easter egg. They have the president. Yeah. They have the first lady, who's blinking her eyes hostage like. Come on, that was just kind of
Stockholm syndrome.
I'm sorry, I couldn't help. Okay.
Yeah.
The president in the middle.
Yeah.
And then a very uncomfortable, weird-looking bunny.
Yeah. Yeah. Not only that, did you know that there was a huge mishap during that Easter egg hunt, too? What happened was I guess one White House handler said, hey, go find the bright orange egg out there. And people just tried to grab Trump.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, brother.
Sorry.
That's uncalled for.
Hey,
You're making fun of our president.
I didn't do it. They said orange and they ran.
Anyway. Which, by the way, the bunny the year before or whatever was originally played by Sean Spicer.
He was.
Yeah.
And he was
There's
good
a little
at
trivia.
Yeah.
And they actually did, a reporter for the Times actually did tweet out, they found out who was in it, some like attaché. It's like some military attaché. And I could show you a picture of the White House bunny.
You over there next to the fern getting that bunny suit.
You pissed someone off in your chain of command. If you get the bunny suit on Easter, it's like, yes, Colonel Doc Normal.
Colonel Normal.
The president wants you to play the bunny this year. Oh, I have to wear this. So,
yeah, Colonel Normal, do you remember at the Christmas party last year when you made a copy of your butt on the copy machine? How do you feel about being the Easter Bunny this year?
I have to pull up an image for the folks that are. Well, there it is. There.
Mm-hmm. The uncomfortable Easter Bunny.
Great if Colonel Normal were somehow there. Well, there's a okay picture.
Okay. Let's take a look at that Easter Bunny.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I hate.
Okay.
Well, okay. So here's C-SPAN because it was on C-SPAN, so you can kind of see there a little bit. You can see the Easter Bunny there. This is from a video, but you can kind of
live to the White House.
Anyway.
Now
they got Obama. Whatever. Well, that worked out well, didn't it?
Doesn't that say volumes when they put up the former president instead of the
yeah, what's up with that?
Yeah. Wishful thinking.
Bunny. President. Would be nice if we had an of course, it would be nice if I knew. Here we go. Here's a photo. This is good. This is good. Here we go. You just gotta see this, okay? As we're see that, and Google changed something in the browser now, but there.
There it is.
Yeah. Oh, thanks.
Oh gosh, waving.
There's the bunny. There's the president. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so that's what we're talking about, the bunny. All right.
Mm-hmm.
It's what happened in the now Chrome. You can't just go grab the image and look at it now.
Right,
they blocked that. Thanks, Chrome. They've made some nice blockages. Anyway, that was a heck of a tangent. So they do that, and then the First Lady sits down and reads like an Easter story to the kids.
Oh, I bet you
there's a film of that, of her reading an Easter story. And
sit down, kids.
What Kimmel did was made fun of this on his program.
Sure.
Like, I'm thinking of Monday night or whenever it was. They showed video, and he kind of laughed at it on his show, whatever that show is that he does. Kimmel.
You can't read a children's story and sound like the Terminator and not get bagged on. It's gonna happen.
Well, I kind of.
Sit down, kids. I will be back.
Believe it or not, I'm kind of like,
I know.
I was like, so Hannity went after him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for making fun of that, which I forbid that I'm like a Hannity defender, but but I mean it's a joke show anyway, you know, Kimmel. Yeah. So it's kind of like one of those, how egregious is this?
Yeah.
So Hannity basically, the way this started was Hannity goes after him and said, she speaks 5 languages. That's one of the 5 or whatever she speaks. How many do you speak? And then he responds to it on his show, and then they get in a Twitter fight today. So
Hannity.
Sean Hannity, today's poll. So tonight, will Jimmy Kimmel be asking 8 to? Oh yes, this is. So they kind of go after stuff about him. 1, asking 18-year-old girls to touch his crotch. 2, make fun of the First Lady reading books to children. 3, be a racist a-hole. And 4, all of the above. And then he keeps linking Disney and Bob Iger. This is Sean Hannity. And Jimmy Kimmel goes, I voted for whichever one best helps you trivialize the horrors of Harvey Weinstein. So Hannity calls him Little Weinstein Jr., calls Jimmy Kimmel that. This is all on Twitter. Yeah. I vote for whichever one best helps you trivialize the horrors of Harvey Weinstein by comparing them to a televised comedy bits in which every woman was willing participant who gladly signed a release. And it just devolves from there.
Yeah.
Hannity, you are bully attacking First Lady of U.S. I mean, we could do this in WUSA terms.
Yeah.
Attack any time, attack real time. Suck up to all about. So it's just like, thank goodness we have kind, tolerant men. Yeah, Mr. Harvey Weinstein Jr., he calls him. I'm trying to read and see if there's anything good. Oh, he calls him he called him an ass clown. And so Kimmel, Hannity
called.
And so then Kimmel made fun of that. And then he suggested that that was Hannity's interests.
Yeah.
Sexual interest. I mean, it just devolved from there.
Yeah. The one thing you never want to do, ladies and gentlemen, children at home, let me give you a little piece of advice, okay? The one thing you never, ever, ever want to do is get into a war of words with a comedian. Why?
Yeah.
They do it for a living. They will tear you apart. It's, I'm not a comedian, nor do I play one on TV. That's why I would never get into a war of words with a comedian.
Yeah, so he keeps heckling him, calling him Harvey Jr., and one of his retorts is, "And you, a poor woman's Rachel Maddow, she's beating you bigly, right?" Oh my gosh, it just, the one, something about pulling a creamsicle out of, oh God. It just, wow. So it's like this cage match, on Twitter. It's ugly. And so, UFC.
Let's take it to the octagon.
Take it to the octagon, man.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, yeah. I didn't have time to do that.
Oh, that's okay.
But anyway, so that's our solution to the UFC problem.
Yeah.
Filling the ticket.
Oh, yeah.
And the Jimmy Kimmel, Sean Hannity problem.
Yeah.
Once and for all.
We could add some too, didn't we? I mean, we could add another card. We could add, I don't know, like Stephen Colbert against Ann Coulter.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Ooh, tag team.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be great? A tag team of conservative pundits versus
Tucker Carlson versus
Maddow. I don't know.
Oh, she would tear him up. She would.
Yeah, I'd have to say that she would.
Rachel would
Tucker looks like a little pipsqueak. Run!
She would grab him by his bow tie, and next thing you know, she's submission hold. Wow!
Listen to us. Just listen to us. Oh, this is UFC though. I mean, if they're gonna like tear it up on the Twitter, because that's what they do on the Twitter. That's what Twitter is for. He's like,
right.
You come here, you come street corner. I show you.
Yeah, you think you tough in Soviet Union, you're not even Cabana boy.
Exactly. That's what they do. So I think that is
Why not? We can help them. I mean, listen. Sean, okay, Hannity, I'm going to talk to you for a minute. Sean, come here. Grab a seat. All right, listen. If you're feeling, I don't know, a little weird about jumping into an octagon, don't worry about it. You can give all the money to like your favorite charity, right? You can do that, and plus you can give away t-shirts saying like, I got my butt kicked by Jimmy Kimmel, You can have, I'm trying to help you. Sean, I'm trying to help you, buddy.
Take some bets.
Why not?
I mean, that's what this is, right? What's the spread down in Vegas? Come on.
So you're in Vegas. You may have had a little bit too much to drink. You walk up to the sports book.
Kimmel?
Yeah, you walk in the sports book and you see on the board, you see up there Kimmel versus Hannity. Mm-hmm. I think I may have had one too many Mai Tais. I'm seeing Hannity versus Kimmel. Yeah, really. 4-1 odds. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
Why not?
I like it. I love this idea. The more I think about it, the more I love this idea.
Geez, there may or may not be a Photoshop project tonight. Yeah.
To top the Apostles 11.
That's right.
Check that out.
Which is doing huge in
This could change Meet the Press forever. You know what I mean?
Ooh. Oh, wow.
Here we go. Here's what you do. You'd be like,
yeah.
It's Meet the Press Smackdown.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Smackdown. In this corner, an uptight Irish Sean Hannity versus the madman out of Hollywood, Jimmy Kimmel. What do you think?
Not bad. Very good.
I channeled my inner Michael Buffer.
That was good.
Yeah.
That was very good. Yeah, that was nice.
Yeah.
I like it. Now that we have special effects.
Wait till we do the alien voice.
Yeah, I know. So there was that in sports. I don't know. There was some other sports.
So there was that.
There was like that basketball game, the championship.
Yeah.
Did you catch it?
Villanova, man. Second time in 3 years.
Yeah.
Philadelphia is partying once again.
Yeah.
You know, they got the Eagles winning the Super Bowl. Now they got Villanova.
Oh
now.
my gosh.
Wins. They're doing pretty well.
We have friends who are moving to Philadelphia, as a matter of fact.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So there you go.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's not Philly. It's Pittsburgh. Never mind.
Ooh, it's still Pennsylvania. Right state, wrong city.
Same city, right?
Yeah, you know.
Yeah. Anyway.
Who's counting? Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I mean, there was that. So, yeah, Villanova. There was some soccer, big soccer.
Yeah.
There was a big game with Real Madrid. This is the team with
Ronaldo? Right?
Ronaldo on it.
Mm-hmm.
And he did you know, and when they play this guy, it's like, well, we've got this, and then we've got Ronaldo, you know, a force unto himself.
Yeah, the defense is just 5 guys encircling him the whole time, making sure he doesn't get.
Yeah, it's well, I mean, you have good teammates and stuff on those championship teams, and then you've got this guy who's like, at a totally different level,
right?
And he's so fun to watch. I mean, as far as soccer, and so what did he do?
Yeah,
one of his goals, he does the classic bicycle kick.
He did the Pele.
Oh, 100%.
Oh,
I mean, it was beautiful. It was like, thing came to the goal. He flips over. If you don't know what that is, it's a bicycle kick. You actually flip. You do a backflip.
Pretty much, yeah.
You do a backflip.
While scissor kicking the ball,
While scissor kicking the ball backwards into the goal. And this Pele invented it. The great Pele.
Immortal Pele.
Immortal Pele.
Yeah.
And every once in a while, it's very rare to see it. Right. But Ronaldo just pulled it off. Just made it beautiful. I mean, it was just like, you just watched it like, oh, wow. He got, this is the kind of thing, and you know how soccer fans are.
Oh, yeah.
They can be pretty unruly, like UFC fans. This is the kind of thing where he made that goal against the opposing team, and the entire, the opposing fans applauded him for it. That's how good it was.
You got to,
when the other team and the everyone else just goes, okay, well, what are you going to do? Well done.
Yeah, it's like when Jordan played. He'd come to Portland.
Yeah, exactly.
People would say, he is Jordan.
Exactly.
You got to appreciate it. Yeah.
Exact same difference. This is people that play at a different level. And and the thing with that was that even the coach of Real Madrid, Zidane, was just like, he was like, what? He was like, and he's a pretty cool customer, and he's like, what the hell?
And when that guy loses his mind, you did something good.
Yeah. So it was that was pretty, and that's the origin, I think, of the beautiful game of from Pele and from those days of watching this. Like, wow, there's some weird acrobatics.
Yeah.
In soccer. So he just went to go off to prove that he was that great. I saw a graphic, and it's the Champions League. This is the best of the best, right? All the best teams from Germany and England and Spain and all of them, France, Italy, all of them. It's the top of all the leagues get together and do this Champions League, right?
Yeah.
And so that I looked at a chart, and they had all the total goals of all the teams. And I don't know if it's true. I didn't confirm it, but it was somebody. It seemed like it was like a sports outlet. I retweeted it, so it must have been true. So they have Real Madrid, Chelsea, Man United. All these hundreds of goals that they've done in the Champions League. 10th in that list, 10th position, is Ronaldo himself with 119 goals.
I do not doubt it. Yeah.
He's listed in that top 10 list on his own.
He's a team unto himself.
Yeah, it was crazy.
A one-man gang.
Yeah. So, and then there was a very ugly match. So, who are you rooting for? Who are you rooting for? You were picking a team in the Premier.
Oh.
Who were you rooting for?
I don't know. Tottenham didn't make it, did they?
No, they're playing. Yeah.
Are they?
Yeah.
Well, I got to go with the Hotspurs then.
Okay.
Got to go with Spurs.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
But Liverpool
Ooh.
and Man United had a match.
Yeah.
Champions match.
Yeah.
It was ugly.
It
was a 3-0 Liverpool.
Oh, I bet you Manchester didn't take that very
3-0. Man City.
Oh, Man City.
Pep
Okay.
Guardiola. However you say his name.
Yeah.
Former Bayern. I mean, these are like top managers, right?
Yeah.
And Jurgen Klopp of Liverpool.
Did he pull a McGregor and throw stuff through?
Nah, he just was like, I tweeted a picture of him looking like, oh, like it was. I mean, 3-0.
Yeah.
Like 0. When you get shut out like that, and you're a top team like that.
Yeah. It's got to.
You know, even if you lose, someone's got to win and someone's got to lose. Mm-hmm. But when you get a shutout, like a team like Man City, Manchester City, they're up there. I mean, Liverpool obviously doing well too, but you know what I'm saying. It's just like, oof, that's ugly. It was ugly.
I agree.
So they were making a lot of. So that's kind of. I'd say that's sporty things.
Mm-hmm.
You know what we did miss though? The Oregon U of O women.
Yes.
Were also in the Final Four. You know, the men always get that whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Or I don't know if they made it the Final Four or not.
No.
But they were doing well.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, men's basketball, Oregon is pretty decent.
But they have a gal who's a superstar on the U of O. I can't remember her name. There was some really good video of her 3-point shooter, just like really.
Yeah, the women's team far outdid the men's as far as advancing in the tourney.
Yeah, of course. Well, last year they did well. The men's did real well, but this year, the men's.
Last year they got to like grade 8 or something like that, I believe.
You know Meghan Markle, don't you? Meghan Markle, is that her name? She's engaged.
Okay.
To the prince. Which one is it?
Yes, Harry.
Is it Harry?
Yeah.
I always forget the two of them.
Yeah, Philip's the older one. Harry's younger.
Is that right?
Yeah.
These are the sons of Diana.
Diana and Prince Charles. Yes.
So these are the youngest royals, so to speak. I mean, they're directly from the Queen and the.
Yeah, Harry's the one engaged to.
Buckingham Palace. Let's say the youngest Buckingham Palace.
Yes.
Family.
The royal family. Yes.
The Windsors. The Windsors.
The House of Windsor.
Look at me. Look at me. Huh? Alexa got nothing on me, man.
He's 2 degrees away from being an Anglophile.
Not bad.
Yeah, Philip is the oldest.
Or just
Harry is the second.
Okay, so this is
Harry's. Yeah, because remember, Philip's already married.
Oh, okay.
Kate Middleton.
Ah, yes. You're right. Kate Middleton.
Yes.
That's right. Kate Middleton.
Yeah, with the last name like Allen, you got to be somewhat of a Anglophile. They give you a test every year to prove that you're
That's
British,
right. And that was a marriage that was a couple years ago, and they had a baby a while back. So you know, this is all that royal stuff that they do stuff. They get in a car, they have a baby, they get engaged, and people write about it on the Daily Mirror, Sun.
Yeah. They
the
they
Windsor
have
Report,
giant scissors where they're christening new supermarkets and stuff. I don't know. They're doing royal family stuff. But Harry's the second. He's remember he was the one that was in the military. He actually went through a few tours of like Afghanistan. He was the guy that actually was in a combat unit.
Don't they? Oh, but they're.
I think Philip.
But they're
was
always
a pilot.
Yeah, they're always in the military. They kind of go in there.
Yeah.
Because it kind of looks bad.
Yeah. You do your obligatory 4 years usually.
What's the guy? I remember the guy. He was like in the Navy, and he was in the Falklands. That was remember Fergie's husband. What's that guy's name?
Yeah, I can't. You're right.
Edward, Harry, not Harry,
something like that. Yeah.
Eddie. Mitch.
Let's just call him
Rick.
Yeah, Rick.
Yeah. Hey, Rick.
Hey, Rick.
How's it going?
How do you like the Falklands?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I remember he was in the Falklands.
I kind of like Mitch. Call him Mitch. Hey, Mitch. My name's not Mitch. No, you're Mitch.
What is his name? But anyway, he was Fergie's. He was Fergie's.
Fergie Squeeze.
Yeah. ex-husband.
That's
whatever.
right. They did have a falling out, didn't they?
Well, no, I mean, they got divorced.
It was
they had 2 daughters.
That's right. They got a divorce because she went off and joined the Black Eyed Peas. Oh, wait a minute. That's not the right Fergie.
Oh,
I'm kidding. I'm joking.
That's a good one.
My lame attempt at humor.
It was lame, but see, I got that. It took me like a minute, and it was like, oh, yeah, right.
Black Eyed Peas.
Because who one time late night was Wikipedia and Googling and ended up like, Fergie, what's she doing now? And then ended up on the Black Eyed Peas site and was like, and then because she sang the national anthem and all that. But there's some interesting stuff going on with the other Fergie, with the ex-royal Fergie.
Yeah.
Like financial and all sorts of interesting stuff. And her ex-husband has some
shady
interesting issues with this Epstein guy with the island and the Clinton. Oh yeah. We can't talk about it anymore because we might end up on a street corner. You talk about the island, didn't you?
I tune into this show, Coffee with Curmudgeons. What do I hear? I hear you talk. We meet on street corner.
Yeah, we could have a whole show about lots of nefarious dealings of powerful people.
Yeah.
Along with your obligatory screening of Eyes Wide Shut by Stanley Kubrick.
Right.
Anyway, so Meghan Merkel, right?
I believe that's Merkel. Yeah.
She's getting married to this guy, and it's a big deal too because she's an American.
Yeah.
She is not English. She's an actress, I think.
Yeah, she's not an aristocrat. I mean, think about this.
She's an American.
40, 50 years ago, it would have never been allowed.
Well, was it Edward who did that? The dude who abdicated the throne?
Right. Yeah. Yeah, he actually had
Mitch? Was that?
Mitch abdicated the throne because the people wouldn't allow it. In fact, the Parliament wouldn't allow it.
Yeah. Because he married a American woman. Yeah. Who was divorced, who had previously a divorcee.
Yes.
And he said, well, I'm not going to be king then.
Right.
Love will keep us together.
Right.
And so that's how then his brother became king. The Stutterer.
Yes.
The what was the name of that movie? Shoot. It's a good movie. Go see it. The King's Speech.
Yeah, The King's Speech. Or
it's all about that.
If you tune in, if you watch the first season of The Crown, it goes all of that through all of that. Yeah.
So but I guess he's not going to be king, or who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? You're going to be king. Who knows?
Sweet.
I don't know. I don't know who's going to be what, or maybe I guess it would be his brother because his brother's older.
Yeah.
So
the line of succession is right now Charles, Philip, then Harry.
And if all of that goes away, then it's Mitch, this guy in the corner. It's like, Mitch.
They got him out somewhere in some posting in the Bahamas, putting him on ice. You know, Mitch, you're needed.
So
Mitch.
So someone took a picture of this guy. I don't know if you can see it very well. This older gentleman, and he's reading a book in a Starbucks there. Mm-hmm. And you see it's a picture book. It's called Images of Britain. Mm-hmm. And someone had taken that picture. That's Meghan Markle's dad.
Oh, and he's looking at
images. He was boning up on the British.
As well he should. He's gonna have to learn some etiquette there.
This kind of came out, in the news. So
Mr. Merkel over there with the pop-up book.
Yeah.
Learning,
Yeah, it was. So that kind of was a sensation on the nets, on the networks about. I'm just telling you what's been hitting the news, man.
I know, poor Mr. Merkel. He's gonna have to show up there, and they're gonna throw a tuxedo on him because you got to be dressed to the nines in front of the Queen, and she's gonna look at him, the way she does with her glasses. She'll peer over her glasses. Come forward.
I know, right?
Yeah. Hello.
And but the thing is people loved it because how American can you get? Yeah. It's like people were like, there he is. There's Dad. Ooh, I better bone up on. Look at that castle.
Oh, they must be. The real guys that take care of the etiquette and whatever in the Buckingham Palace. they must be fit to be tied because this guy's gonna show up,
Mm-hmm.
and there's don't say anything. Whatever you do, don't say, hey, instead of calling her queen, your Majesty's gonna walk away. Hey, Liz, how you doing?
Yeah.
Great to see you, Liz. Kids are in love. It's going to be great,
No, I
And the
know.
lady's going to be, the queen's going to be having a coronary over there, and Philip is going to be, I don't know.
We do not touch the crumpets until they are served by the god.
Drop those crumpets! Because, sorry.
I mean, yeah, it's so perfect, right? Oh, don't you just want this? I mean, this is like, here comes Dad. Uh-oh. He doesn't know how we do things here, It's like...
This is like the British version of Guess Who's Coming to Dinner.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it is.
Well,
it is beautiful.
Yeah, I think it kind of applies oddly because I think Megan is half black. So
Yes.
let's ixnay on that idea. But I mean, it's had some interesting ramifications with that as well. But the thing about her dad would be perfect.
It is. I'd love.
It's just like I could just see the whole thing. They're in the castle. They've got the two families. It's a wedding, right? It's one family's here, one family's there. Keep them apart as much as possible, right?
Mm-hmm.
What happens in those weddings? There's like vases and things, and what does your dad do? Right, kind of his fat butt kind of swings over and knocks over a vase.
Hey, Liz, can I see those crown jewels for the moment? I promise I won't lift them.
Yeah. No. Just the typical happenstance.
This could be a great Lifetime movie. Think about this.
Exactly.
The House of Windsor meets the House of Merkel. That would be great.
Oh, reality TV would be perfect. I just would like to see the dad kind of like running around, kind of a little uncomfortable in the tuxedo, and he turns around, kind of hits a vase with a butt, and he goes smashes. He's like, "There's a priceless from India from 18th century."
Right, and the way it is on reality TV, they automatically flash to him in the diary room.
Yes,
and he's like,
yes.
I didn't know what I was doing. My butt knocked over this, Ying Dynasty. How was I to know?
Exactly. Everything's priceless.
Yeah.
I just had to go to the bathroom, so I went down the hallway and I found a bathroom, and well, I'd been eating crumpets all day, so I did have to sit for a while. And it's like, but that was the Queen's private
wash closet, right?
Wash closet. You want a closet?
He's all red-faced veins are popping out. You clogged the royal toilet.
I know.
Sorry, I had a few bran muffins.
You have fouled the Queen's private reserve water closet.
It happens,
A commoner has not pooped in there.
Right.
Since Cromwell.
Sorry about that, Queen. He dropped kids off the pool. It was, don't light a match. She's apoplectic over there. No one's used the wash closet since Cromwell.
What is that smell? I need to powder my nose. Oh, God! Something has died in here.
Something is affecting the royal nasals. I don't know. Philip, what does that smell?
We have lost our minds. I'm going to have to take that warning off that there's no scatological jokes here. No bathroom potty jokes. Oh, no, we went there. But I mean, it's like, can we just get the TV crew to follow him around and do this? Come on, you're right. It's like, and then he's just sitting there, with the light on. It's like, how did I know that was the Queen's private toilet? I didn't know. They didn't tell me. I just had to go and went down the hallway. And
when you gotta go, you gotta go. And then they flash over, and here's the Queen in the diary room, and she's like this.
Exactly.
She's not saying that.
No. I mean, and there's always the reaction, the Harry, and it's just like, oh.
I can't take the Queen anywhere, man.
Oh, man. My dad, what is he going to do next? And that in that reality series, us Americans, we would be rooting for him. We'd be like, you go. Yes. Break the vase. Use the bathroom. Right. Eat the crumpets. Put a half-eaten crumpet back on the tray.
Right. Right.
You know, because we're Americans. We
Right.
fought a war. We fought a war.
Lafayette, we are here.
Exactly.
And then you could do like you could have like Survivor type stuff for competitions, and like the loser ends up in the tower for the night or something like that.
Oh,
I don't know.
that's pretty harsh, dude.
Well, you know, well, they can set them up in a nice room. I mean, they just, you know, go to the tower.
What is the punishment? The official English punishment for using the Queen's facilities? Iron Maiden.
Oh, cool. You know, I once saw them back in '97. No, not that one. Oh. Hey, that doesn't look like Bruce Dickinson.
I would, man. I want to see that reality. Now I want to see it.
Right. What do we name it, though?
Keeping Up with the Windsors.
Keeping Up with the Windsors.
Huh?
It writes itself. That's beautiful. Keeping Up with the Windsors. Yes. Yes. Oh, yeah. Geez, I smell another Photoshop.
Exactly.
I got a busy night tonight.
You do.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
And get a little coffee in me.
Things
Can't compete with this
Thoughts percolate.
this human computer.
That's right.
Anyway, so yeah, so we'll be looking forward.
Keeping Up with the Windsors. That is great,
guys.
Oh, that's great.
Sinking in. So we'll speaking of protecting America. There was the opening of this Mariners game.
Oh, yeah.
Did you see this?
I heard about it, yes.
Trying to see if we can do this. So what happened was they, you know, what do they do before you begin a baseball game or any sporting game?
Well, you have the national
After you take
anthem.
a knee.
Yeah.
Anyway,
or maybe not.
you have a national anthem,
Yes.
right? If you're baseball, right? You
You
take your hat off, right? You don't
yeah.
wear your hat,
And you put the hat in front of the heart, you know. Yeah.
right? So I'm going to try to see if we can see this here. I don't know.
Yeah,
So it turns out there was what happened, Jason, was there was the Mariners, the national anthem, and as the national anthem was going, a bald eagle was flying. Here it is, was flying around the field.
Nice.
Beautiful, right?
Yeah.
You're gonna sing "Oh Say Can," and here's the bald eagle, and it's flying around the field, and hey, what's going on? So anyway, and then and that there is the pitcher of the Mariners in the outfield. I don't know why he's out there. That's a picture of the Mariners, and here comes the. That's actually the trainer of the. Of the. Oh, good. That was copyright. Baseball. Oh, we're gonna hit all the copyrights today.
It's Friday.
It's news. It's goddamn news. It's newsworthy.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it as far as I'm okay with this eagle.
Well, he's doing what he does.
Yeah,
right? Gets out
protecting America. What do bald eagles do? Symbol of our country. What do we do? We put them on the F-16s, bald, protecting America. And that bald eagle was protecting America.
He was.
Because the Mariners pitcher, Seattle Mariners pitcher, is a Canadian. Good on you, Eagle.
I know that the eagle,
keeping that guy straight and narrow.
Well, you never know. I mean, he's checking him to make sure he doesn't have any Canadian bacon on him or any sort of Canadian
contraband.
Not contraband, right? Yeah. So, I mean, the eagle's got his eyes on. He's like, hey, listen, man, I got my eyes on you because I'm the eagle, man. I am the national bird, brother.
So since I posted that, tweeted that on Twitter to show how a bald eagle was protecting America from those dastardly Canadians.
Yeah.
Like the pitcher, they come down here, they play our baseball.
Right.
They eat our bacon.
Right.
And I don't know.
I don't know what's going on, but
they steal our women.
They steal our women.
Those Canadians.
It's very.
They bring their comedy. They bring their Second City comedy.
Yeah, I know. It's like, think about it. They bring Rush down here, like, oh, that's awesome, man. Triumph comes down. Hey, that's a cool group. They bring down Justin Bieber. Canada, what did we do to you?
Yeah, that's right. The Canadians. See? Keep an eye on those guys. They're on our borders.
Maybe the Eagle was just trying to making sure that wasn't Bieber.
I don't know.
Just checking them out, what's going on. Because it is kind of insidious. If you live up in Washington or you live up in...
You're right on the border.
Right on the border. If you listen on a dark night, right, in the background, very, very low, you can hear them sharpening their skates. It's true. It's true.
And a little Tom Sawyer. Today's Tom Sawyer, high on you.
Right. You can hear that.
No! Dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee.
Right. You can hear that. If you listen real hard, you can hear 2112.
Are those Neil Peart's drums that I make here at the border?
It happens.
Is this a Rush album you're bringing into our fair country here?
Right.
Anyway, yeah. So
the Eagle's doing its job.
It was doing its job, and I was proud of the Eagle to, kind of trick the foreigners that are down here playing our national pastimes and stuff.
Yeah.
This Mariners pitcher from British Columbia.
Right. Think about it. They let you loose. You're flying around. You got some extra time on your hands. Why not frisk the pitcher? Make sure there's just Canadian, contraband.
That's right. Molson's probably got Molson's in his pockets.
Right.
So anyway, so pointing this out on Twitter, which I did.
Yeah.
As a public service, as a patriot, an American, this fine person who follows me, Christina, reacted with another bald eagle incident, which bald eagle protecting America. That is our president with a bald eagle. If you remember this one, this happened, I think, during the run up to the election, when there was a bald eagle on Trump's desk, and they were filming a commercial with the bald eagle, and the bald eagle attacked.
Well, the bald eagle is trained, man. I mean, he
supposedly they are trained.
They are. I mean, he sensed Agent Orange, and he found it.
Well, you know what the moral of the story is? Bald eagles are raptors. Don't mess with raptors. Period.
Right.
End of story. You know.
Yeah.
It's like I've actually they have them at the Oregon Zoo. Mm-hmm. They do the wild raptor birds like in the summertime. Yeah. You take the kids out there and stuff, and they have a stage, and they do a little show off at the zoo, and they have the raptor. And every year, like I think I was one there year, and the raptors just swooping down, looking at these little kids, going, little hungry today,
right?
They do never. I've seen some of those raptor shows, right? And it always seems like there's something that the trainer's trying to get the raptor to do, and the raptor's like, no.
Yeah.
They're not. They're
pretty independent.
They are. They're pretty. I know. Now I am a huge raptor fan. Mm-hmm. In fact, I just I love it when I'm driving out anywhere, even on the highways, 26 or whatever, and you drive past like a big I don't know if they're ever, but like a big owl or something that just there on the signs.
Yeah.
First time I ever saw bald eagles, I was a kid. Went down to Klamath Falls, driving through the highways, and I don't think I'd ever. I mean, I see a bald eagle in captivity at the zoo or whatever.
Yeah.
But this was back in the day when we were killing them with the DDT. Yeah. Remember that?
Yeah.
Like we almost made the symbol of our country, bald eagles. Let's make them extinct, shall we?
Weren't they on the endangered list for a while?
Yes, they were. Yeah. They were. And because when we were growing up as kids, it was like they're on the endangered list. There's the DDT, this
the pesticides
or whatever, pesticide, whatever, was killing them off. And so there was this huge thing about it. I remember when we were growing up. And so it was like, you're never going to see bald eagles. But, they did. It seemed like California condors, that sort of thing. So as a kind of a teenager, go down to Klamath Falls, all of a sudden we're driving on the highway, and there's just like bald eagle just perched on the highway post, like a few of them.
Yeah.
And I was like freaking out. I was like, oh my gosh.
And you quickly learn they're much bigger than what you see on TV.
They're huge. Yeah. And then later, in Southeast Portland, in a house, we actually have here in Southeast down by this Oaks Bottom.
Yes.
There are nests. There's raptors, and at least there
wetlands, were. Right? They had a little wetland area where there's,
and there were actually eagles, a family.
Wow.
Eagle family. I was I was out doing the thing, Jason, that you do in your backyard. You do this every week.
Sure.
Barbecue, especially when it's not raining, it's sunny, especially in the summer.
Yep.
You sit out in the lawn chair with a beer, with a beverage maybe.
A nice frosty beverage.
Right.
Yeah. Well,
food, maybe
nowadays it's water, but
right.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, like a speaker out there, you listen to the tunes. You're just having a good time, right?
Sure.
You're just relaxing in your yard.
Yeah.
This giant eagle flies right over me in the backyard. I'm like, oh Lord! I mean, it really comes down low. There's nothing like it. I'm telling you. I was just like, you know. And I probably had one too many beers at the time. Anyway, that's an eagle.
A crow tried to fly away with me. That wasn't a crow, dude. That was an eagle. Oh, it's an eagle.
Oh, you know it. You know it when you're close to it. And like you said, they're bigger than you think when the wings are out and everything.
Yeah, first eagle I ever saw was in person. Right, it was I believe Yellowstone. And I was taken aback because you see him on TV and they're like, oh yeah, they're somewhat sizable, but this guy he was a mammoth eagle, right? And you're like, and then you hear stories they're known for like flying off with like small piglets and stuff to feed on, and like you probably don't want to be underneath the talons when he comes swooping down. Yeah. Well,
again, this is like right down here in southeast Portland, right, yeah. And then it was like, hey. It's an eagle, and then you'd see a couple of them or whatever, and it was like, oh yeah, there's a nest down there, you know, and they, you know, the people monitor them, you know, whoever controls the lands, of course, you want to be like, okay, let's, you know, let's not screw this up, let's let them do their eagle things, right?
Right.
Like, pick up your cat. Wow!
Next thing you know, there goes Fluffy.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man!
But I think they're majestic birds. They're really impressive.
Yeah.
I like it. But and then I saw after that, I'd see them all the time. And then if you went down to Oaks Bottom, you'd see them like circling around there. It's like, look, there's the eagles.
Yeah.
The symbol of our country. Oh, say, can you say?
Yeah, and it's been known that if you're out there and you see an eagle, you just spontaneously burst out in the national anthem.
You do. You really do. And the rocket's red flare. You know. Yes, you do. You do.
Yeah, it happens.
Yes, you just suddenly become immediately patriotic.
Right. So now, I mean, if you're a pitcher or you're an outfielder and you're Canadian, now you know.
Or Japanese or whatever.
Japanese, Ichiro, you got to be on your guard, man.
Cubans? Do we have any Cubans in the South? We got some Dominicans.
We have some Cubans. We had some Dominicans. Yeah. A lot of Dominicans.
We got the eyes on you, mister. Yeah. Anyway. Do you like that movie Gladiator? Remember that movie Gladiator?
Which one?
There was
two of them.
Ridley Scott.
Okay, and that was the one about Rome, ancient Rome.
Russell Crowe starred Russell Crowe, and it was a Ridley Scott film.
Joaquin Phoenix.
Phoenix.
Yeah.
You like that movie?
Yeah, it was all right.
All right,
sure.
Would you like to own something from that movie?
Well, now you have me intrigued.
Well, you can.
Yes.
And let me get the correct word for this here. Russell Crowe, who starred in Gladiator, apparently he's been divorcing or getting a divorce or some sort of divorce-ish kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And I don't know how this works. It seems like, is he raising money or whatever?
Yeah.
He has, Russell Crowe, the actor, has created something called the Art of Divorce Auction. Where he is auctioning off his stuff like you do after a divorce.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Which includes various props, costumes, and things from the movie Gladiator.
Wow.
For example, I don't know if I can find a photograph here. You can look these photographs up. You can see what's up for auction. Okay. The chariot he rode in the movie is up for auction.
Ooh, I wouldn't mind having that. Okay.
Russell Crowe's divorce auction. What's under the hammer? The star is selling some of his treasured possessions. Here are 5-ish lots with a bit of history.
Mm-hmm.
On Saturday, Russell Crowe is celebrating his birthday and his wedding anniversary, and he's auctioning off what he calls stuff. Wedding anniversary. Hundreds of items, including film, costumes, props, modern Australian art. He has an excellent eye. Sporting memorabilia. Women's jewelry.
Mm-hmm.
And guitars. Women's jewelry.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the thing. He's got like something like a $50,000 diamond ring or whatever.
Wow.
It's like divorce, I guess. But his wedding anniversary, so.
Huh.
Watches and cricket caps, motorcycles, diamond rings, 20th century Australian art.
I would like a cricket cap.
Boots from Romper Stomper, where he played a Nazi,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
a white supremacist. Cloth angel doll from The Sum of Us. Lots 10 and 19 is what you want to go for. Gladiator trophies. Gladiator. Oh, yes, the gladiator cod piece that he wore. A leather jock strap, once worn by Russell Crowe. Jason, could be yours.
Nice. I'll do. I'll put in a bid.
Leather jock strap.
Sure.
This was. I can just see you coming home, honey. Look what I got.
Hey, it's a.
It looks like a jock strap. It is. It's made of leather. Russell Crowe wore it.
Right. It's a great icebreaker when you're in the you're walking through the store. Maybe
Exactly.
you're over there,
What are you wearing there?
You're over there trying to pick up some spam or whatever, and like, wow, provocative codpiece you have on. Well, why, thank you. I just happened to purchase it at the Russell Crowe divorce auction.
I'm trying to see. There were some pictures here of that. Oh, here we go. Here's yes, Jason. Are you ready for this?
Oh, Jason, you silly goose. Did you buy another codpiece? Why, yes, I did.
Yes, Jason, this leather codpiece can be yours. There it is. Isn't it beautiful?
Man.
Hi, bidder, hi, bidder. I have 125, 130, 135 to the man, and Jason Allen.
I'm like totally dissatisfied. I wanted a codpiece, and they sent me a Roman jockstrap.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
It's a Roman jockstrap.
With a wooden cup.
And, well, if you're going to get the jockstrap, you're going to need to get the chariot that goes with it.
Right.
Come on.
Right.
Now,
That'd be all right.
Now, Jason Allen, wouldn't you look good tooling down the roads in beautiful Oak Grove and Gladstone in this original gladiator chariot? Start the bidding at 125, 125, do I hear 30, 30, 125, 126, 126.
I'm gonna, and then I'm gonna like trick out my chariot. I'm gonna put like Christmas lights on it, maybe some hydraulics, so it's like a little, one of those going up and down. And then what I'm gonna really do, my piece de resistance is I'm going to hook a Mercedes emblem right on the front. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that way. Wow, that's nice.
And this one, for Missy. The diamond-encrusted ring going for somewhere between $70,000 to $70,000, $100,000, 101. Do I have one on 101? Diamond estimated $70,000 to $100,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's kind of a. I mean, the thing about the ring is, like, I could see, so he's got the gladiator codpiece. Yeah. He's got the chariot. Apparently, there's also fake prop horses that they used in the movie. Ooh. So you can get a full-size prop horse.
Put them out on the front yard like Christmas, Christmas and stuff.
But I mean, the whole diamond ring thing is odd. That's sort of like I don't know what that's kind of it's like it's a divorce auction, so it's like auctioned your ring.
Yeah. I mean,
unless I don't know, there's something we don't know about Russell Crowe.
Most women though, they see that like, okay, what'd you do wrong? Why are you giving me this ring? What'd you do wrong? No, honey, really.
Divorce can be messy, and when all is said and done, everyday objects can become painful reminders of a spoiled marriage. They sure can. This, according to CTV News.
That is awesome.
Canadian. Actor Russell Crowe has found a novel way to deal with the problem by selling off hundreds of pieces collected during his marriage, including diamond jewelry, a dinosaur skull, two motorcycles, and a leather jockstrap.
That is such a eclectic sort of group. I mean, wow. But you had me at dinosaur skull.
I know,
like,
right?
Wow, yeah.
Right? The stuff you collect, you know, it is true. When you get married, you end up collecting things. Now, I'm not exactly Russell Crowe, but I do have Craigslist. So me and Russell are like this, bro.
That's right. Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah, you do. You're right. You do collect the darndest stuff. You never know what
I'm right there with Russell.
Right.
Only taken forever, but finally it's like, you know, you open up a drawer and you go, why do I have Craigslist?
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Let's sell this and melt this down, you know?
Right.
Yeah, no, I was like, wow. You know, I mean, you could open drawers up and go, let's turn this stuff into cash, shall we?
Right. Well, and it also really tells you about old Russ's personality. I mean, really eclectic stuff.
I know, right?
A Roman jockstrap and a dinosaur skull. You know, other people are selling like silverware and whatever.
A barbecue.
Yeah.
A barbecue.
There you go.
That's right.
Yeah.
But yeah. Sorry, I don't have any dinosaur skulls or leather jocks. Well, never mind.
I'm gonna go on Craigslist on purpose later just so I can look at. Hey, look at that! There's a leather jockstrap. Oh, Doc, you scamp.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. That is always like. That is always like. After the divorce, it's like, what do you do with all of this?
Right.
Pair of handcuffs.
Right.
Oh, look.
Got to do something with it.
Chains. Oh, boy. This has turned into an uncomfortable moment on Coffee with Curmudgeons.
Dinosaur skull. Kinky.
Exactly.
You know? Like, wow.
Do you think didn't he do Hamlet? Was that his Hamlet skull?
No, I think that was Mel.
Be or not to be. Oh, wait a minute.
That was Mel.
This is the wrong skull.
Right. Yorick. I
swear he did one too.
I thought that was Mel that did Hamlet.
It was Mel, but I swear Russell. They all do. They're Australians, right? They all got to do like Macbeth, and
right?
Hamlet or whatever.
Right.
And, you're not, and play a gladiator in a Ridley Scott film. You know.
Right. Right. I mostly remember Russ from L.A. Confidential. You know, where he plays.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He was good. Very, very good. Yeah.
Master Commander.
That's what I was thinking.
A Beautiful Mind.
Beautiful Mind.
Yeah.
Ron Howard film, right?
Evidently in his mind he's got, dinosaur skulls. And...
I was thinking from The Insider. You ever seen that one?
Yes.
See, we're giving you Russell Crowe movies to watch.
Yeah.
Because he has to auction off his stuff, so, make him a little
we gotta promote him
The Insider. So I hear that there's like on the auction block there's a whole bunch of an ashtray full of cigarette butts from The Insider.
Excellent.
Go for $70,000.
That's one expensive butt, man.
Well, it was a major motion picture. I'm trying to because I'm curious. I didn't read the whole article. I just saw the leather jockstrap.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you the truth, I sold a barbecue yesterday on Craigslist.
Sweet.
I did. I really did. I'm having my own Art of Divorce auction on Craigslist via Craigslist.
Well, you got to clear some space out, You got to do what you got to do.
Yeah. Then it gets down to the bone. It's like, what else can I sell around here?
Yeah.
I mean, you get addicted to Craigslist.
Well, you kind of
because you start selling stuff and people start handing you cash money, the green, right? And then you're like, what else can I sell? If I took these socks off, would you give me like $5 for them? You know what I mean?
All I need is the left one. Oh,
yeah, exactly.
All right.
Exactly. I got another sock in the drawer.
Right. And people will buy the darndest stuff.
They will.
And God bless them for it,
Oh, man. I got so many Craigslist stories. We could take the rest of the time. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
But I wanted to know what this is because it's the Art of Divorce. Again, the CTV News, Canada. Watch the bald eagles.
Yeah.
The auction organized through Sotheby's Australia will be held Saturday in Sydney. So we got to go to Sydney.
Gotcha.
I think we could Skype in and call in though. I think those big auctions you can.
Well, I'm sure there is.
Yeah.
Closed.
Yeah, you don't have to be.
Coming from a land down.
You have someone with a paddle, you know.
Yeah.
Martin Landau and James Mason shows up, and you create a disturbance and you run away.
Yeah. You got to do that.
That's a famous scene from North by Northwest. Cary Grant.
There's one person out there right now like, oh yeah, I remember that.
Great scene. It's a great scene.
Yeah.
So the auction in Southeast Australia was Saturday in Sydney. The date was carefully chosen. It's Crow's wedding anniversary, which he once celebrated with his ex-wife, actress and singer Danielle Spencer.
Mm-hmm.
The pair got married in 2003 and separated in 2012.
Gotcha.
He once celebrated with his ex-wife. I know someone who did that once.
Mm-hmm.
They celebrated their wedding anniversary after being divorced. I was like, are you nuts? Like, really? Yeah, I was like, huh? It's like, yeah, we can go have drinks.
I don't understand that. I don't understand that.
Yeah.
There are some people that celebrate their divorce days, you know. Like,
well, there is that. There is that. The idea sounds a bit cheeky. That's because it is. The official poster of the event shows a dapper Crow with a cocktail in hand, smiling and tilting his glass. The event's title is written in gold cursive on the breast of his tuxedo, The Art of Divorce.
Well, at least he's doing it in style, you know.
Crow told an Australian morning television show that the idea behind the sale was to turn something that was a little bit bleak into something something joyful.
Yeah, we're gonna go from bleak house to cleaning house. Right now.
Exactly.
Come on.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So
awesome.
go for that leather jock strap from Gladiator.
Right. You know, he missed kind of an opportunity. I mean, I know he's doing it through Sotheby's and kind of a high-end market. He should have made a deal with the QVC channel.
Oh, yeah.
Can you imagine it? Welcome to the Russell Crowe Divorce Sales Spectacular. Russ, come on in here. Hey, g'day, mate. I got here a leather jock strap that I didn't have one in 12 years, but you can have it for $5,000.
Yeah.
You know, that would be awesome. You know.
Yeah.
G'day, mate.
That was good. That was a good accent too. You know, it's funny because I saw a job listing for QVC hosts somewhere.
Oh.
I'm not joking. I was like,
God, we could do that.
You're looking at them right here.
We could do
Yeah,
that.
and actually, you know what? There's nothing better than to sell something with an Australian accent, I think.
Right. You got to have some sort of accent because people suck into that. If you could just come in with the normal, white bread, hey, why don't you buy my stuff?
You have like one person. You have like I think I could be the American person.
Okay, yeah.
Right? Just the normal person.
Yeah.
But you would have to be, and especially you're kind of wearing the hat and everything. You got to, because Americans, they trust, they like the American, but they have to have something else. Now, German doesn't work. I'll tell you this right now.
You will buy my
Yeah, exactly. It's like, you will buy my barbecue. It is very nice. You can see, very efficient. 1, 2, 1, 2.
What do you mean?
This price is the best.
Right, the best.
If you can see it, you are.
It's made by
Total
Krups.
loser.
It's made by Krups.
Exactly.
It's the best.
Yes, exactly.
I can't do that.
This is my Bosch. What is a German company like Mercedes and Volkswagen and other fine things?
So, you say you're only going to pay $5, are you?
I wonder what German QVC is like over there in Germany.
Right.
Is that nice? Yeah.
Hans
It's like
and-
two guys just like
Hans
sitting
and
there
Gunnar.
going, open it up. Yeah. Here it is. Yeah. It's like that's the Sid Caesar sketch I sent you the other day.
That was brilliant.
It's exactly like the Sid Caesar sketch. Sid Caesar, for you kids who don't know, because none of you know, was an original television pioneer.
Yeah.
He was a pioneer of original live television when few people started buying televisions and actually watching this little black and white thing. They had these live TV variety shows, and they were all vaudevillians. They had all done live shows, vaudeville. And it's like, who do we get to put on television? It's like podcasts. It's like, what do we do? Here's a mic. We got a camera. What do we do now? So they hired vaudevillians to do shows.
Sure.
and they hired Shakespearean people and stuff to do plays and things. And that was live television. Sid Caesar had Your Show of Shows. Was it?
So brilliant, yeah. Your Show of Shows.
And it was a sensation. It was a comedy show, sketch comedy. It was kind of live sketch comedy.
Yeah. Him and Burl and
Carl Reiner,
Jack Benny.
Carl, Then
but he was
launched.
You're right. The shows launched tons of careers.
I think Woody Allen.
Yeah.
Were all these guys were writers.
Yeah.
Larry Gelbart of MASH and all that. Mel Brooks. I think all these people.
Oh, Blake Edwards.
Yeah. So anyway, there's a really good movie.
Yeah.
A Peter O'Toole movie called what's it called?
My Favorite Year. It is one of my favorite movies of all time.
It's a great movie.
Alan Swan.
It's a great movie.
Yeah.
Yes. It's Peter O'Toole plays Alan Swan, and he's basically
Errol Flynn.
A fictional, right?
He's modeled after Errol Flynn.
Oh, that's right.
His career's on the skids.
Who the guy who was the Sid Caesar character?
King Kaiser.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's King Kaiser. It is the King Kaiser show, and they had the guy from what was that one show? He plays the writer. He was in that 80s, 90s sitcom.
It's a drama.
Yeah.
And so it's about I think it's the guy who was on that Alaska show.
Yes.
That
you mean Northern Exposure?
Northern Exposure? Wasn't the Northern Exposure guy? Maybe not.
So.
But anyway, My Favorite Year is basically written from the perspective of this young kind of intern kid who gets a job on the show, and it's all about the crazy backstage antics of doing a live show like the Sid Caesar Your Show of Shows.
Great,
very good movie.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Sid Caesar used to do these things, which I sent you. It just came up. One of his things that he was known for was doing languages and accents without actually speaking the language or the accent. So he would make fake language that sounded just like what he was doing. And one of the famous, very famous, was German. Right. He'd play a German general or something. Yeah. And he'd speak this gibberish that sounded just like German. But it was gibberish. Throw in a few words so you knew what was going on.
My monocle has schmutz on it.
That kind of sort of thing. And he was brilliant at it. He did Russian too. There was some. They're all on YouTube. That's the thing. You can go to YouTube, and you can find all this classic stuff, and you're just like I watched that clip, and I sent you. It was like a 7-minute clip, and I sent it to you, and I just watched it, and I was mesmerized. It was like, how brilliant is this comedy? Yeah, because you're just so bought in that this guy. He's like a general, and he's getting dressed, and he has his assistant, and they're just speaking German in quotes, and it's just brilliant, and people loved it. Yeah, and he was well known for that. I mean, well known for other things too, but that was one of his well-known skills as a comedian. They'd ask him to do, well, could you read this in German or Russian or something? And he was like, okay, and then he'd throw in just enough English words to make it funny. Oh yeah. Just slip in words and things like that. So
totally brilliant. You're very
yeah, so I have no idea where I was going. No, I'm just we were talking about that.
I can do that for QVC.
Yeah, QVC. We're going to do the QVC. So so I was thinking along those lines, if you were watching German QVC, it would be very Sid Caesar's.
Yes.
Das ist no Schmutzen on Sebarakuen. I can't even do it. But Schmutzen. But it'd be like that. Or Russian QVC would be good.
Yes.
That would be a great set too, because you'd have to have a portrait of Putin behind you. Right. I know.
Some guy with a AK-47s back there just staring. Because if you don't sell enough, But I'm thinking more pleasant sort of stuff. Yeah. We could do
Japanese QFC. Could you imagine that? Because there's nothing more bizarre than Japanese television.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. I mean, it would be like someone getting kicked in the nuts or something. I don't know. It would just be like, oh no. Right. I mean, there's some really, really, really weird stuff
in Japanese TV. Sure.
Oh no. I mean
Yeah.
I don't even want to go into it. I think you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's fun stuff.
Oh, no, I don't know. I don't know how fun it is.
Well, I mean, to watch it, I don't think I want to be in it.
I don't know.
But I could do Irish.
This is a family show. I don't want to go into Japanese television.
We could do.
But you can look at it on YouTube.
Well, we could do a morning show for QVC for you, and I could be Irish. I could be.
I like that.
I could be Patrick O'Rourke, and you could be Doc Normal.
That's right.
And we'll call the show Top of the Morning.
Oh, I love it.
Top of the Morning with Doc Normal.
Sorry, I don't know that one.
Oh, I'm sorry. We'll move on from there.
You didn't even say the name.
Right, Top of the Morning.
Now she responds to Irish accents. It's
That's
like,
right.
I'll just.
Let's see. We could do Australian.
I like the
easy.
Australian.
Hey, g'day, mate. Down under with Doc Normal.
What do we have?
Oh, today I'm doing some Cockney
it's okay.
accent.
It's
Hey,
okay.
Governor. I can do that too,
Yeah.
Hey, Governor.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah. It's funny because I know
Me boys.
Australian. We just get Australian.
Yeah. G'day, mate.
podcaster. Yeah.
We got some shrimps on the barbie out there, and yeah.
Australians have a heck of a sense of humor. Hence Russell Crowe and The Art of Divorce. I mean,
right.
No, I like the Australians.
No, yeah.
It's a place I've never been, but I would go.
I would too. I'd go down under, sure.
Even though apparently every insect will kill you there.
It's quite possible, yes.
Yeah, it's like don't touch it, mate.
G'day, mate.
Yeah.
Do that. Let's see, Irish. I could do British.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because the people, they want some funny, crazy person with an accent to sell them something.
Right. Maybe do like a Norwegian one.
Yeah.
I could probably pull that off. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a pretty good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sell them a
Sven.
Lutefisk
Yeah.
pasta maker.
Sure, why not?
This makes pasta and lutefisk. It's lutefisk pasta.
It's lutefisk pasta. Yeah. When you make a lutefisk, people come over and they say, "Hey, I bought that on QVC with Doc Normal."
This pasta is made of the lutefisk.
Sven,
Whatever.
And
Anyway,
then we could have like
it's a Friday.
Yeah, we could have Swedish women wrestling too.
Man.
That's what they do over there. We're just trying to entertain.
Dude.
Yeah.
What's sexist? I thought you said Swedish and I thought meatballs and then it was just
Oh, the
else.
Swedish meatballs. I can do that too.
IKEA. You can go to IKEA.
Good.
Oh, brother.
Anyway.
See, you said that and then it's like
But
speaking of sexism.
I wasn't sexist.
Speaking of sexist.
I will wrestle. I will take all comers. It's fine. I'm willing to get the crap beat out of me for selling some stuff.
Well, that's a good segue though. Speaking of sexist.
Oh. Oh.
Jason.
Sex? I'm not
Remember the
sex.
John Hughes? Remember the Breakfast Club?
Yes.
You remember the Pretty in Pink?
Love that.
Remember those?
Love those
John
movies.
Hughes films?
Sure.
Molly Ringwald, who's star of several of those movies.
16 Candles.
16 Candles, Pretty in Pink. In fact, they pointed out that she was sort of called his muse. Like he wrote things with Molly Ringwald in mind, right? Mm-hmm. She just dropped a thing in New Yorker. I love it when I send this stuff out. The New Yorker. New Yorker magazine. She just dropped a column or a thing she wrote.
Excellent.
In the New Yorker. You can go look this up. It is under the heading of personal history. It's called "What About the Breakfast Club?" Revisiting the movies of my youth in the age of #MeToo. By
Interesting. Yeah.
Molly Ringwald. And she goes through and talks about John Hughes and the John Hughes movies that they did together, and what kind of instigated this is her 10-year-old daughter. Yeah, I mean, I'm reading this and it was like, what was it? How many years ago did they make The Breakfast Club? It's like if you really want to feel old, Jason.
1986. 85.
Yeah. 86. Yeah, just read this and you're like, how many years ago was it? I mean, obviously you're like, no. But anyway, she said that the setup for this is that her 10-year-old daughter came to her and said, "Hey, Mom, I want to watch The Breakfast Club." And she was kind of like, I think you're a little young for the Breakfast Club. But
10 years, yeah.
But the 10-year-old, her daughter's friends already had seen the movie.
Oh, okay.
So she was really, she was kind of wanted to wait for older, which I kind of agree with. I mean, you know, I was like, at that time, I was like, no, the John Hughes movie's not quite yet, you know?
Yeah. Wait till you at least hit 13 or 14.
Well, what she did is, since her friends had seen it and were talking about it, she said, okay, I'll give in. And then, you know, what you do as a parent is I will watch it with you. Mm-hmm. We will watch it together so that I mean, this is the best way. Like, look, if you're going to watch something and the parent's there, the parent can ask questions. You know, as parenting, that creates trust. That creates, you know, it's that's the way you want to do it, rather than the kid goes off, does it on their own, and then has a lot of questions and doesn't come to you about it. So they watched it together, which is weird because she's in the movie, right? So it's like, you're going to watch me in the movie.
Very surreal. Yeah.
And of course, looking back on these films, there's issues. Mm-hmm. You know, issues of, well, there's just issues. So she wrote a whole thing in the New Yorker about the Breakfast Club, and also about Pretty in Pink, some others, and about John Hughes. Yeah, it's a good article.
Okay.
I was a little bit like, okay, you know, she does not throw John Hughes under the bus. And of course, John Hughes died quite some time ago now, heart attack. So John's not with us anymore. She doesn't throw him under the bus. She does address things that today don't play out very well.
Understand.
And it was a good article. I'd recommend the one thing she talks about that came up in, and I love the Breakfast Club. Oh, yeah. I mean, we came up with it,
right?
You know, we grew up with all these movies, and these were great movies. And the good thing about this article is Molly Ringwald talks about how, you know, for all things that you watch now and you're like, I don't know about that scene or whatever, John Hughes was the first guy who was actually making movies about teenagers. No one cared. Hollywood wasn't making movies, like honest movies about teenagers. There was nothing. He was it.
Right.
He was it.
Yeah, up until then, the teenage sort of franchise movies were all
Disney, maybe-ish.
Or on the other spectrum, Risky Business and things like that, where it would be very, you know, a lot of drinking and a lot of partying, you know, Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
You know, she does bring that one up, and that's kind of, I think, in the milieu of, that'd be the right thing to say. But you're right.
Hughes did tackle a lot of the middle class American Midwest sort of
honest in an honest way. Yeah. I think she says that up until that point, really, teenage movies were, you know, the slasher movies. Yeah. You know, the tropes of teenagers, and then teenagers do stuff.
Or the party movies, you know, or
a little bit. Yeah. But I mean, a lot of, I remember when Hughes came out and when all these movies came out, then all of a sudden there were these movies that dealt honestly with youth and that sort of thing. And they just didn't, it just wasn't a Hollywood thing.
Right.
So she does say that. She brings up a thing in The Breakfast Club where John Bender ducks under the table where my character, Claire, is sitting to hide from a teacher. While there, he takes the opportunity to peek under Claire's skirt. And though the audience doesn't see it, it is implied that he touches her inappropriately. So that's one of the things where it's like this, you know, is really bad. And she actually goes into the fact that it's not even her in that scene. Like, it's a body double adult, because she was like, they don't even think they could have legally filmed that.
Right.
You know, she was a teenager. Mm-hmm. But she brings up things like that. It's actually really well written because, on the one hand, I understand some of the things. There's been things about John Hughes movies that have come up over the years.
Sure. But
on the other hand, it's also like, I am like, hey, you know, yeah, we get that. We get that now, you know. And she brings it up. She talks about some people who starred in a couple other movies. Yeah. is it the drunk girl from Pretty in Pink? I want to say that actress. She actually has a conversation. She reaches out and talks to people. Okay. She talked to a guy who was a production assistant who said, no, these movies helped me identify. He told her that no matter what the problems were for the movies, that they at least identified individuality and the things that kids were going through at the time, which led him to be able to come out as gay later, and be comfortable with himself. Like it was the first movies that he'd seen as a kid to go, oh, okay, other kids are struggling with things, identity. And she said not that there was a specific thing in there, but the themes of these kids, and so she makes some really good points. I think she balanced this thing out really well. Like she hammers the problems, but then she goes out and talks to people, and other people are like, wait a minute, I still identified with these movies, and it helped me deal with things because there was nothing out there that did.
Right. And you also, when you first saw the movies when you were a teenager, you saw them and I'm not trying to give a pass to any of this, but you absorbed this material at the time, in the times that they were shot, right? In the 80s. Where things are now, I think, a little more evolved now in the 21st century than it was in the 80s. And so we can look back retroly and say, well, we may have some problems with some areas of it, as you should, right? As you should critique all forms of media from your vantage point, even if it's something that's 30 years before you. But you need to take in your mind the contextualization of what it was at the time, right? Again, I'm not giving it a pass. I'm just saying historically, you need to understand what the times were, and I'm not saying that that's correct or incorrect. I'm just saying it is what it is.
Well, yeah, and then...
But it's good that she's come back, years later and said, listen, this is... And it's also cool that some people say, listen, well, at the time when I saw it, but I absorbed it this way, and it helped me that come to terms. When in a world in the 80s that didn't address any sort of coming out or human sexuality and sexual preference, that was, you didn't talk about, and it's good that Hughes started at least Hughes, I think, started the conversation a little bit.
Yeah, it had it took its characters on. I know. I think what you said was just right. Is like, I remember when, as an adult, things started coming. I was like, well, this character, and they did this in these John Hughes movies, and you recollect back and you go, oh, I just remember really identifying and loving these movies and going, thank God someone's making movies like this. Yeah. I mean, and you, like you said, it's not like you identified with that side of it. You identified in a whole different way. Right. And she has examples of that, like people she talks to and stuff, where she's like, I have a problem with this, but apparently these people saw it differently and saw it more positively. Yeah. And she puts that all out in balance. It was really, like, when I got through it, it was because I was like, uh-oh, here it goes, right? Because it's always like, let's reassess things in 2018, and, which is fine. Yeah.
There are some things you can, like Birth of a Nation and stuff. You need to go through and call it what it is.
That's my thought, is that when you go back, there's been things written about Hitchcock and stuff, and you're like, there you go, okay. Yeah. But at the same time, you can go back and look at things from an earlier time and find all kinds of problems with it. Sure. Sure. So do you throw it out, or do you put it in context in a better mindset? Like, we all have developed. I mean, we've civil rights and all that. I mean, that's our lifetime right there. That's not like Martin Luther King, MLK, was just 50 years. Was it yesterday?
Right.
The day before.
Yeah. Whereas my kid,
his was it his assassination? Was it
68?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, everything's coming. Everything is coming because it's 50 years since 1968, which was a pivotal year, including the assassination of Martin Luther King. We keep hitting these histories in 68. And it's like, that's just, that's my lifetime, you know?
Yeah.
And you'd think, if you think in the context of, wow, America, like in those early days, weren't like 50 years ago, wasn't that, I mean, we weren't, what do I want to say? I mean, we were racist. I mean, still are, right? You know, and it's like, and that doesn't mean that you're excusing it or making it right. Here's the thing, and this is, I'm saying this poorly. There's a paragraph in here that she wrote that I thought was really good that kind of transcends this whole thing. She says, erasing history is a dangerous road when it comes to art. Change is essential, but so too is remembering the past in all of its transgression and barbarism, so that we may properly gauge how far we have come and also how far we still need to go.
Beautiful, yeah.
I
Franklin said it best: those who forget their history are doomed to repeat it. I mean, you don't have to. I mean, yeah, you can look at things from a what I'd like to call more evolved sort of social look at things, but as long as you can look at it and say, yeah, I realize back then things were a certain way and they're not as kosher as they are today and what we're trying to strive for today. And I think that's probably the best way to do it. Of course, there's some things out there, I mean, that's really racist that you have to just call, you know, you just have to come down on it as far as...
And you wouldn't have this, you know, these... You wouldn't have The Breakfast Club be The Breakfast Club movie if you made it in 2018. She makes that point, right? It's like, you know, it would be different. But I just thought that line really transcended even the whole piece to say, because it's like I've always wanted to kind of say, you know, what do you do? Do you throw everything out, put blinders on, and then move? Because you can't move forward. You don't know what came before.
Right.
And you and I are like huge, you know, we are big into history. And history is not pretty. You think movies and television and pop art, that's like, well, okay, that's a little tiny bit of it. Go read actual history, what people do to other people. And not even in a war, you know. I mean, we have a country of slavery.
Yeah. Listen, if
that didn't take until 1968.
Some would say still going today.
Yeah.
You know, we're definitely feeling the aftershocks.
I mean, you know, and that's unacceptable.
If you were going to be a history major now in college, you better be prepared to do a whole lot of reconciling what is today versus what was yesterday. And it's not pretty. I mean, being human and human evolution is an ugly business. I mean, look at today's politics. What will that be written about in 30 or 40 years?
I mean, 50 years ago may seem like a long time. It's not really a long time, especially in history. I mean, it's a generation, right? And 50 years ago, and when you're talking 50 years ago, you're talking about people being, you know, armed guards in front of schools, not allowing you to go get an education.
Brown versus the Board of Education, Rosa Parks.
You name it, you know? It's like, I mean, and again, this is like, remember the simpler times? Remember back when, like, you know, that's always the funny thing when people say, gosh, remember the good old days? It was like, actually, it wasn't the good old days for a lot of people. You know?
Billy Joel had a line about it. So I'm like, anyway, I can't remember
now. Was it Stonewall?
Stonewall riots.
The Stonewall riots in New York.
69, 70.
Was that 69? Okay.
69, maybe 71.
All right,
somewhere in there.
But I mean, that was like, you know, the gay rights riots, and I mean,
well, you said it perfectly. 68 alone.
I know.
I mean, we are the last generation. I know people are younger again, saying, "Okay, here you go, curmudgeon." Listen, we were the last generation that knew what it was like to live in the Cold War. We knew. Well, I mean, we could say.
And what are we doing now? Let's Let's play those old hits again, shall we?
Right.
Let's have a new Cold War.
Right. Yeah.
Let me show you my Satan too.
Right.
Oh, you bring your trident, I'll bring you my Satan too.
Or if that's not good enough,
I meet you on street corner.
Right, I'll meet you on street corner. If that's not enough, there's a new musical coming around. Like, hey, let's have a trade war.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You know. Anyway.
Yeah. And that's a great example because that is a great example of what's going on right now in the world.
Yeah.
Where it's like, you guys understand there's a lot of older people like us who are going, this is a bad idea. Yeah. We've been through this before. Nuclear weapons, bad, you know?
Yeah.
You don't want one of those going off in your neighborhood.
Right. Right. Or
ask the Japanese, you know?
Yeah, not too long ago, I had a conversation with my kid. He's now 19 going on 20. And he was talking about, wow, you know, the whole thing with the current administration and everything that's going on, what's going to happen? You know, the whole macro question, what's going on? I told him, I was brutally honest with him, at least as far as I see it, that sort of, you know, make America great, let's do this all, let's act like we're back in 1950s. I said, listen, kid, it's generational.
Yeah.
You know, I said as the younger generation came up and the segregationists passed away, so as the younger generation, the millennials come up and the Make America Greaters again start to pass away. It's all generational, and I know that's probably very cold comfort to a lot of people. Like, geez, Jason, thanks.
I just figured you'd play the Marvin Gaye. What's going on?
Yeah, what's going on?
Anyway,
could be worse. We could do Eve of Destruction. The Eastern world, it is exploding. Anyway.
Well, you know, and in the context of this review of this John Hughes stuff, this was a very good, and again, that line. So I encourage you to check this out and read it, this Molly Ringwald
I'm going to
piece.
go home and read it.
It's very good.
Yeah.
And again, you're kind of like going, oh, we're going to open up that can of worms, because you know. But then it's like, she really balances it out. I mean, it's like, wow, you really balanced this.
Yeah.
You know, you did not want to, and I really like that when people do that.
Yeah, I do too. They just
so
don't
great
beat it over the head and shove
She's
it.
doing, I know she directs and writes now and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she actually goes into some of John Hughes's background when he wrote for National Enquirer.
Oh, yeah.
That's not pretty.
No.
And here's the thing. Go watch the thing about the National Enquirer on Netflix, either the actual documentary or the movie. They're both on Netflix to kind of get a sense of what's going on. Yeah, it's ugly. They're humor.
Yeah.
But it was the National Lampoon. I mean, I don't know how else
the Lampoon, yeah.
You know, I mean, you know, and Hughes wrote National Lampoon stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, and it's for me, I kind of get the context of the humor because I remember, and I hate to go into it. It's you know, it's the whole like making jokes about things.
Sure.
And it's like, do you make jokes about this? No, you do not make jokes about those things. Back then, they made jokes about that stuff.
Yeah.
But it also wasn't like, you know, you wouldn't, like, I never at one point in time would see jokes about ugly subjects and think, I'm interested in an ugly subject. No, it would be a joke. It would just be for shock value.
Right.
It was like, wow, that joke is shocking.
Right.
And that would be it, you know?
Right.
It wasn't like, oh, that thing they're joking about is totally cool and okay. Never, ever crossed my mind.
Right. Or it's like the dark humor when someone tells you a joke and you get this face like, ooh, and then they followed up with, oh, too soon?
Yeah.
Because they're recognizing that it's that way, but it's the face of the absurd trying to...
Somebody just did that recently, too, on Twitter, and I was like, wow, it is. And people were like, yeah, that is too soon. And it was like...
Right, yeah.
Well, it was... It was a weird... It was a weird...
But I will check out that Molly Ringwald article. Yeah. That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
Because I remember a lot of the cool Hughes-esque movies. In fact, my favorite John Hughes movie, it's a close. I mean, I want to say Uncle Buck because I'm a huge John Candy fan, but more of the little-known John Hughes films that actually is my favorite is Some Kind of Wonderful. Because in the movie, Eric Stoltz is he's a working class kid. It wasn't the affluent sort of Chicago suburbs, sort of, home alone, huge house, everything's all happy. Here was this guy living on the other side of the tracks, was a high school artist and stuff, and he just, the girl that he loves lives on the other side of the tracks in the affluent part, and I liked it. I thought it was one of the movies where Hughes was trying to reach out to those group of kids who didn't live in the cul-de-sac.
Well, that was Then she talks about that too, and I think that's what we got from the movies is that I think he drew from his Chicago suburb upbringing,
right?
And I mean, if you look at the context of the movies, it's like, maybe the girl from the family that's not that well off has to deal with the rich kids, and all that.
Right.
Those are all good themes.
Yeah, very good themes. Yeah.
So I mean,
Some Kind of Wonderful. I like that movie. I think probably the best. And Stoltz, good job.
Yeah, I have not seen those movies in so long. And The Breakfast Club, I used to watch it all the time, and I was like, oh, I love it. Even as an adult, it was like, yeah, this is, and it was, and again, it was, well, we've kind of run this in the ground, but it was very, it was very much, you watch the movie and you were like, yeah, I remember that guy. You identify with various characters.
Oh, especially the Breakfast Club, because each kid in that Breakfast Club is an archetype.
Yes,
you got the jock, you got the kind of the outsider, you got the
geek.
Yeah, and you could at least, if you're 15 years old, you can at least identify with some of those archetypes.
Speaking of kids, and you mentioned your son.
Yes,
I think you said is 19.
Yep, going on 20, yeah.
So that would make him, I believe, we're trying to come up with these generations. He's of a different generation. I believe that makes him Generation Z.
Is he? He's not millennial, right? He's now a Z.
Well, maybe I don't know.
Because he was born in 98, so I don't know.
Huh. I don't know. I mean, we could look it up. Let's take a look here.
Okay.
Because there's Generation Z. Generation Z is the kids who because there was Generation Y. Well, let's look up. I'm gonna look it up right here because I'm curious. Because I'm always curious how they define these generations. Yeah. They define them like the baby boomers was easy.
Post-war.
Because it was post-war.
Yeah.
It was like all the people who were born after World War II. In the whole 50s, 60s.
Yeah, Generation X. Actually, I was born in 69, and that is the first year what they call Generation X. 69 to almost, I think it's like 80 or something like that.
Demographers and researchers typically use the late 90s to mid 2000s as starting birth years for Gen Z. So that again puts them most here's and because it's always kind of it's like anything with dates and times and stuff, they try to put around it to give you a context in time, but it's usually something like, for example, baby boomers, it was post-war, it was the expansion of Pax Americana, the industrial boom of America after the war, because we were on top of we were industrialized like crazy. The Eisenhower years, the rock and roll years and stuff, that typified that generation. But the Generation Z, most Generation Z have used the internet since a young age, and they are generally comfortable with technology, interacting with social media. So you said late 90s, right?
Yeah, he's 98.
So I think Z. Generation Z fits because these are kids that were born that there was always an internet, a World Wide Web.
Well, easily. I remember using Windows 95, and he wasn't born until 98, so he was...
so late 90s. Yeah. I mean, the web kind of started coming out, or being popular, as I remember.
Mainstream, yeah.
Like in the early 90s, or, tech people. So anyway, so here's the headline, Generation Z. They're bored out of their minds.
Yeah.
They are bored, Jason. Yeah. They're really bored.
Yeah, kids
Now
bored. Yeah.
Now they got no. You got your phone.
Yep.
You got your social networks, your Facebooks, your Snapchat. Those kids, I don't know about yours, but I know that the kids are not on Facebook. I know that they're Snapchat.
He uses
and Instagram.
Yeah, Facebook very sporadically. He's mostly Instagram,
they
Snapchat,
hate Facebook,
and ones I've never
which
even
is
heard
fine.
of.
Which is fine with me, and Twitter too. Not so much on the Twitter, I think either. It's like Instagram and Snapchat.
Yeah, and ones I've never even heard of.
Yeah, well, we have an Instagram. In fact, I've been meaning to set up an Instagram for.
Yeah,
but anyway, I like Instagram. Snapchat, I just don't get. It's like you have to be Generation Z to get Snapchat. You're just like, huh? And Snapchat was the one that popularized all those filters for your face and stuff, turning yourself into a dog and everything.
Right.
And people love that. And I see people on Facebook posting their profiles where it's like, some lady, it's like, look, I've got glasses and a dog mouth. And I'm just like, folks, I'm sorry, all you adults, my generation, adult people, why? Why? What is the reason? What is the reason for this?
Yeah.
This is an outrage.
What do you think you're doing?
What are you doing with your profile face? Why are you doing this? Yes, it's crazy, but why?
The younger generation is cuckoo.
Warum? Why? Anyway, so the deal is this generation has all of this stuff, and you have the internet, and the thing is revolutionized school. You can research. I mean, I'm just like so jealous because think of what we could have done. We had to go to the library and we had to check out books, and we had to actually
Dewey Decimal System.
Oh my God, we actually had to do that. But now it's like like you help your kid with the school papers and stuff, and they're all up on the internet. And you're look at this and that and everything. Yeah, it's awesome, right?
Yeah, we could never access.
Send it in electronically.
Right, we could never access the Library of Congress or Harvard's library online. We could never do that.
Or watch historical video. Watch the Martin Luther King speech on YouTube. There it is. Watch it. It's. It's. We do have the greatest things at our disposal. Yeah. We're just complete imbeciles on how to use them.
Right.
And I'm not talking about Generation Z. Actually,
no,
I'm talking about us.
Yep.
I think the adults are the imbeciles.
Oh, I think
I
so
really
too.
do. And I know people are like, dude, you know what? The way you change things is first you look inward. Mm-hmm. Change comes from the inside out, not the outside, inside out. But anyway, a lost art. But so anyway, I wanted to read this. Where is this? The Daily Beast. Mm-hmm. This is from the Daily Beast. And the headline is, it's got a great graphic. I should show that. Generation Z is already bored by the internet. And here's the thing. I saw that headline and I wanted to read it because anyone like you or I, at least in my case, I already see it. I'm like, I know this already. I can see it. Frankly, Jason, you're going to love this.
Okay.
I think I'm an honorary Generation Zer.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, you know why?
What's that?
Because I'm bored with the internet.
Right, yeah.
I am. It's like Facebook is boring.
Yeah.
Twitter is, I remember when Twitter came out, I was so excited about, first you didn't know what Twitter was.
Right.
We had no clue what it was used for. Yeah. Then the iPhone, Steve Jobs, and the smartphones came out, and then you could do the Twitter on the phone. And then it started being like, it was the first wow, this is like a mobile social network. Yeah. And for a few years, you could connect with people. You could get news. You could find out about events right away. You could get breaking news. Breaking news was awesome. Twitter was always like, wow. You talk to people, it's like, did you see that on the news? Oh, no. I'm like the AP right here.
Yeah, within moments.
It was exciting, and I think the early days of Facebook, people like that. They shared, they connected with the colleges and shared their family stuff and the things. And now it's just, I don't know, to paraphrase Bill Joy, It's just kind of like a bunch of gray goop now. Social networks. I don't know.
It is.
I think. I mean, it's not. You can go find. You still have this all at your fingertips, but the places we go, like Facebook and Twitter and all that, it's just junk now. I mean, as he says, pulling news items from Twitter for this show and broadcasting all over them. But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's all intent.
It's our problem to solve. It's not really the tools problem. I know people are going to argue that Facebook and that, okay, maybe there's different things there. But what I'm saying is it's the boredom is our problem, not the internet's problem. Right. The internet's just sitting here going, I'm here as a resource. Let me help you. Whatever you want to do. I have amazing knowledge here at the speed of light, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always eternally amazed about what my kid takes for granted in technology, and what I'm still trying to grasp.
Generation Z. I love this graphic
because I mean, think about it. He's always totally immersed. He'll get on these networks where he plays video games with his friends, 3, 4, and 5 friends, and not only are they playing all this video game at the same time, they're talking to each other in real time, and it just. To me, that just it befuddles the mind because heck, I grew up with Atari and Nintendo. I mean, but all this is cross-platform stuff, and I am eternally amazed by it. Whereas him, like you said, he's already bored with it.
Yeah. So just wanted to highlight a couple things. We're just giving you all the news items to look at and read. In quotes, sometimes I feel like I've seen everything there is to see on the internet, echoed Violet, a 15-year-old in the UK. I'll circle around on different sites or apps. Sometimes I feel like I've reached the end of the internet. I'll just watch the same videos on YouTube until eventually I'm so bored I start clicking random things on my phone. Yeah. That is Violet, a 15-year-old who's quoted in the article in the Daily Beast about Generation Z.
Yeah, I get on, check Facebook for maybe 5-6 seconds.
Here I had it right here in the tweet. Generation Z spans those born roughly between years 1998 and 2010.
So that makes them
that pretty much spans our kids.
Yeah.
The kids, every time I say that, it's like, oh, that's so nice that you and Jason have a family.
Yes, well,
we're not a family.
It's TV. It's cool.
Yeah, but nowadays it's like you have to explain.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was the incident with the condom last show. Anyway, so go check out the dailybeast.com. Generation Z is already bored by the internet. This is by Taylor Lawrence, and it's a good, very good article about kids being on the phone. The reason I want to bring it up, actually, is not okay. Problem identified. But what I'm seeing with the kids is they're turning to other things.
Yeah.
Amazingly, and this is going to blow your mind, oldsters. I guess. So one thing I know that my kid was kind of turning off things. Like at one point turned off the Instagram stuff. It was like turn it on, turn it off, or try to get off the phone. Here's the thing. Vinyl records, for example.
Yeah.
And I know this has been going on for a while with the hipsters. It's huge among the kids. All right? And because, you get all your Spotify, all your phone. Now, iTunes, supposedly, you might want to verify this, but I've read, iTunes, which is where you buy music, you download it to your phone, your devices, you listen to music. That's how we do the music now.
Yeah.
You don't have to go to Tower Records, where Tower Records doesn't exist anymore, right?
Right.
You just get it on iTunes. I read that they are going to turn into purely streaming, like you don't even have the files of your music anymore. Like that's where it's going, right? Spotify just had an IPO.
Yeah.
Right? This is where people are getting music. People listen to Spotify, listen to Pandora.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. The kids, what I'm seeing, they're not liking it anymore. Because, you got all your music at your fingertips, on your devices and all that. They're discovering stuff on vinyl. And Now it's even going, honestly, God, I saw a YouTube video. People are starting to go back to cassette tapes.
That is crazy.
I kid you not. And then there's CDs too.
Yeah.
But, you know, and if you look Craigslist, like we were talking about the Russell Crowe, you know, selling your stuff on Craigslist, or going to places like the Goodwill. That's what they do. They go to the Goodwill and stuff. They buy clothes. Like none of the new clothes. It's like, no, we want some vintage stuff. Vintage stores.
Yeah.
In fact, I have to get another cassette player because mine broke. I always like to have one around because I'm old and there's media.
I got one.
Right?
Yeah.
So I need one. So where am I going to go? Goodwill is the first place to look because you can find usually a working one, and then you got to go to a vintage shop if you do it. But they're like into this, and so now I'm seeing this thing on the internet where this guy's talking about tape and how tape is, and all of a sudden the kids are like, oh, a cassette tape, isn't that? So this whole analog, touchy-feely, like, remember, what do you have when you have, like, you can't, no matter what. I mean, I was all like, oh, digital music, the music will sound better. Records, they have dirt and clips and stuff on them.
Yeah.
But they love it. They love that now.
I do too. There's a soft spot in my heart when you put on an LP and you get that, you know, the crackle. It takes you back, you know, like
it does. And I just, because I, you know, well, whatever. No, but I found a couple, Jimi Hendrix specifically.
Yeah.
Electric Ladyland.
Oh, yeah.
And there are some people always have like their lists of albums, like records that you should only get out the vinyl, put it on and listen to it. Now see, we're of that age though, but these kids are actually discovering this as well.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like you know, you're supposed to just run away and let it die.
Right.
But I guess what I'm seeing is that this boredom with digital, with always on, connected, everything at your fingertips, is getting to the point where discovery is difficult.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be, but it is.
Well, it's also the universal human yearning for something tangible. Mm-hmm. Whereas cyber, everything's up in the air, it's in the ether. Whereas you can physically, and this is, okay, paint me weird, and a lot of people
we'll
do.
paint you weird.
But I remember when I was a kid, the coolest thing was getting that album, getting it out of the plastic wrap, and you would have that new album smell to it, right?
It has that new album smell.
But you get on there and you could the artwork, you know, people had great artwork on albums. You get up the liner notes and the dust jacket, which has all the cool, you know, words to the songs on it. And it was something tangible, you know, you held it in your hands, you could put it on there, you put the needle on, you could hear the graininess of it. And there was and I hate to use the word purity, but there was a certain sort of, you know, visceral, human, tangible thing. Whereas today, it's a point and click, and there's your music. And don't get me wrong, digital music, I mean, the sound is just far superior. I love it, you know, especially when you listen, especially when you go back and listen to old stuff that's been remastered, like old jazz and bebop. You know, it blows your mind then when you start hearing, you know, like a Charlie Parker and stuff and Coltrane. And even if you go back to even earlier and you start listening to like Chopin and Mozart and everything, and it has that stuff where you couldn't pick up that much on the turntable, you pick up near. Don't get me wrong, but there's that certain tangibleness for albums, you know, or tapes.
I agree with you actually, but I know that there are audiophiles that disagree with that opinion.
Sure. Yeah,
with the digital is better. I was one of those people that was digital, and it's only because the music is being cut up and sampled in bits.
Yeah.
Whereas a record or whatever is actually an analog representation. You know, there's no slicing of the bits. That said, since the late 70s, I want to say, whatever, you know, digital. A lot of music was created digitally, certainly since the 80s, in studios that were digital anyway. So, but that's an audiophile argument.
88 or something like that. That's when Sony came out, I think, with the very first real mainstream CD player. And,
it was
it
before
late 80s?
that.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I remember seeing him in '82.
Well, my memory.
No, they were really, I remember
Yeah.
seeing CDs, the first time seeing CDs in the record store, like in
Okay.
Tower Records. And you know where they were? They weren't out with the records and tapes.
No, they were with the laser discs, right?
Well, there was
the
yes,
movie ones.
yes, there was laser discs. Yes, yeah, there were laser discs. That was the '70s.
Yeah, yeah.
And you can still get those. You can find them in antique shops and stuff. But yeah, there were the laser discs. But I'm talking about the actual CDs, the compact discs.
Okay.
That was like the early '80s, and I remember going in and seeing, and it was like, let's look at these, right? The new technology. They were all in the classical section. There weren't any CDs or anything that were in the in the pop section because it was so new.
That's right.
It was so new.
Yeah.
And they would release the stuff first.
Yeah.
Like the special records or laser discs or then CDs. It would get released to where the audiophiles would pay the big bucks for that because the CD players themselves cost $1,000 or something at that point when they were very first released, right? Yeah. They cost hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars. Well, the only people who are going to pay for that are the audiophiles that spend, substantial sum of their income on their hi-fi setup. So they were all in the. So you'd go into the classical section and actually go see these brand new compact discs, laser. They are laser based, but and that's also where the digital recordings first happened. Like when they'd actually go record digitally, because that and the records would be like, well, it's still a record, but the recording was on digital. Was all classical. It was all orchestras and stuff, Deutsche Grammophon and all of them.
Yeah, I remember the big deal was made. I forgive me, I don't know the year, but I remember one of the first CDs, modern CDs, that was recorded in digital was Elton John. Yeah, and I'm like, oh my God, he recorded in digital. That's so cool. That's so
I recall reading about. Oh gosh, now I'm just drawing a blank. Well, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
It doesn't matter at this moment. Keep the conversation moving, even if you're drawing a blank. But and then that all came out. And the thing is, what I was going to say all along is you were talking about the albums. One of the things that albums always had that tapes, because remember, tapes were made to make it portable because you wanted to listen to your music in the car.
Or in your Walkman or whatever.
Yeah. And so, and take it with you. And you're not going to bring your LP around. Although I've seen some actual LP player for the car. It's pretty crazy. But no, you can bring the record with you. So that's how the cassette tapes got popular. And then the CDs were like, well, it sounds as good as the LP and it's portable. You can take it in your car and your Walkman or whatever as well. But the one thing I know, and to this day, you still look at it, and the kids can look at it, or whatever, is the art, the album art. Like you said, it's just there was nothing, a CD. It was too small. And I remember getting cassettes, and I preferred getting albums and then taping them on cassette for portability. I still liked that because I thought it sounded better. But then I remember, because I didn't think tapes always sounded that great. It took them a good 10 years to master them to the point where, like this guy was saying on YouTube, it's like now the technology is so good you could actually get a cassette that was mastered in recent
HD.
Yeah, with the Dolby whatever and all that, and put it in, and it'd be like
DAT or something like that.
There was DAT, but even just an analog tape, because there was always like they always had hiss and noise and stuff like that. Yeah. But nowadays with technology, even with an analog tape, that's all gone now. Now it's actually like, wow, it almost sounds like digital. But anyway, before, we got CDs after that. But I remember going that way and then getting the CDs and going, wow, this is great, sounds good. But it was like, I hate this. Like the artwork and stuff. Okay, now the album is reduced down to this little guy here.
Right, you didn't.
It was horrible.
Liner notes are so small that you couldn't really read them
anymore. You have to fold it out, It was horrible. It was horrible because we had the albums that were this size, and it's like, and they're beautiful. You know, the art. You know, there are people who make art books and stuff out of album covers. Yeah. You know. Yeah. And the notes, like especially, you know, reading the notes on lots of different music, especially like if you're into jazz or classical, you know, they'd have the full fold out with like a whole like short story, you know, Meister Klemperer.
I miss those days because I mean there was album art is art unto itself. I remember I mean looking back, I remember I was a real young kid. And first time I ever saw the artwork for the first Boston album. Oh yeah, and it blows you away, right? Wow. Or of course, my generation. I remember like looking how cool was the front to Kiss Destroyer. You know, you look at that and it's like, wow, that's pretty cool. Or Rock and Roll Over.
First time I ever, you know, I early on loved the art of H.R. Giger. And of course everyone loves his art now and books and stuff, and then the movie Alien came out, which really put him at the forefront. Who is this weird Swiss guy making this really weird gothic art? First time I ever saw his art was Brain Salad Surgery, the Emerson, Lake and Palmer album. He designed the cover. And it's a classic. It's a fold out and everything. In fact, my friend scored an original pressing of it with the original cover, and was like, because I had friends who sell records right now, and what did my kid get? A record player and some records. Right. So there you go, and that's what they wanted, and So we were going through, and it was like, oh, wait a minute. This is the original Emerson, Lake and Palmer with the original fold. I had the reprint that didn't have the fold out and whatever. I was like, I remember my buddy had this as a kid. I need this record.
The first pressings, right? Yeah, because the first pressings always had the cool stuff. Like, of course, you know, the Kiss.
What about the what album is it? The Andy Warhol with the banana. That was is that Stones? Rolling Stones?
I think so.
I bet you our chat room will tell us if he's listening. There's famous Andy Warhol design with a banana. It was like peel here or whatever. Right. I think it's the Stones, I think.
Yeah. Or look at the art cover of, or the cover art of Sgt. Pepper.
Oh, yeah.
You know, or you're right, the Stones. Even something simplistic but really cool, Dark Side of the Moon, you know?
Oh, yeah. And well, now, I'll tell you what. Bands like Yes and Pink Floyd would have like I think it was Roger Dean designed a lot of the Yes paintings on their early albums, and Pink Floyd, I can't remember. No, it's the Velvet Underground. I think it's the Velvet Underground. That's what I thought. And Nico, it's the one with the banana on it. Sticky Fingers, the Rolling Stones. Oh, yeah. Maybe that's the one I was thinking of. But I was thinking of the one, the banana. I just did.
Wasn't the what Rolling Stones album? And of course, someone out there you're gonna get this. Maybe you can type it in the thing. But what Stones album had the zipper on it? Remember,
is that what zipper thing? Yeah, right. Is that Warhol too?
I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah, it's like an actual zipper. But that's what they would do. They would do cool stuff like that.
Right. But album art was art. I mean,
you mentioned Pink Floyd, and Dark Side of the Moon is a very iconic, famous cover. Sure. But I really liked like Animals and some of the, and that artist was well known. Wishing You Were Here. Oh yeah. Is one of the best albums with the guy. And I've read the whole, if you read how these album covers were staged, the photography, because there's actually a stunt guy who's on fire for that album cover, and these are just classics. And he actually got injured, if I remember, in that photo shoot, because the wind, I mean, he was an actual stunt guy.
Yeah, the wind shifted or something
like that. The wind shifted when they took the picture, and he actually burned part of his face or got singed, because it's a dangerous stuntman move, but you know, that's what they wanted. They wanted, hey, I want this guy on fire handshaking someone. not CGI, not Photoshop. That's not what happens.
All for the sake of art.
I mean, I got a friend who's a photographer artist, truly really good up there. Friend Mark, and he's done some famous album covers for people and
Very
whatnot.
cool.
Yeah,
Very cool.
I mean, it's really art.
Yeah.
So it's cool. And here's the thing about the vinyl and all that. You know, bands in the last several years have been releasing stuff on vinyl. You can still, I mean, you're silly if you don't do digital or do iTunes or whatever,
Right.
because that's where you get your revenue. But a lot of even local bands that I know, they'll press a vinyl, people, and they'll sell them at the shows, and people are like, "Oh yeah, I want to buy your LP," and they have that format.
Yeah, a guy we've had on the old show a few times. A guy that I got to get to know a little bit, Floater, Robert Winia. I think they reissued some of their albums, like 180 gram vinyl.
Yeah.
Very recently and stuff.
And these companies, that are out there, there's one locally around in this area, as a matter of fact, that's all they do. They cut vinyl and make vinyl. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy out there. So I was thinking, Jason.
Yes.
I had a brilliant idea.
Yes.
The Coffee with Curmudgeons comedy album.
Ooh.
Huh?
Ooh.
Yeah.
I like it.
Some of our best bits.
Right.
And just put them on there, put them on vinyl.
Yeah, watch out, Cheech and Chong.
Oh, no.
We're coming.
Oh, heck yeah. Speaking of another great...
Yeah.
It has been cool and brings me back because having friends who are record dealers and deal into records, all of a sudden these bins, and you're like, oh my God, where are you putting all these bins of records? I'm going to stumble over them. Then it's like, oh, look, it's Cheech and Chong. Let's put this on. You know what I mean?
Right.
Then you're like, wait a minute here. I want to listen to this. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Instead of Where Have You Gone, Joe DiMaggio, it's now Where Have You Gone to Django's.
Yeah.
You know, because I love, it was so cool going into like,
yep.
Well, you still can go into like Music Millennium.
It's yes, Music Millennium, and we're talking Portland now.
Yeah.
Music Millennium, Jackpot Records is over on Hawthorne. That's where the kids
Second
go
Avenue
there
too, right?
Yep, the kids go over there.
Yeah, but I remember back in the days, man. Everybody's record and tapes.
Everybody's
Al's Records,
Django's, Al's. I used to go to Al's too.
Yeah, I love that. That was my stomping ground. I love that.
There was me too, and there was Bird's Sweet, which was another one.
Right.
Oh, you know what? Here's a shout out because I know these record dealer people who still do this, and the kids are like discovering it. It's so funny because it's all older people, or at least millennial. At least let's just say middle-aged-ish folks.
Back to the 80s.
Who've kept it alive.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And now the kids are coming in, and you're seeing these younger folks, like teenagers and stuff. The Crossroads Records. Highly recommend you go there.
Okay.
They were on Hawthorne for like 1.5 million years.
Right.
On Hawthorne.
Okay.
And I know because I helped someone move, not them, but help someone move. What it is it's dealers, used dealers, so you could sell your records there.
Like consignment or whatever?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
So Crossroads Records, they have just moved to like Foster and 82nd to a bigger store, right where the Tom Petersons used to be over there.
Yeah, right next to the Korean barbecue joint.
Well, the Fred Meyer over there. So they're right in there. Look them up. And they moved there. It's a much bigger place. It's looking pretty nice. I highly recommend it because Crossroads, they have dealers and lots of albums and whatnot, and you can go through there and you can find all. They have tapes.
Oh, I love it.
They have everything there. I highly recommond Crossroads.
I got to check that out. I love going in.
And they were over on like I said, the over on Hawthorne for many years, but then they moved over.
82nd.
I was introduced to the owners, and it's like, oh yeah, what do you do? It's like. And it was like, what is it? Oh, so yeah. And it was like, this is it's Doc Normal. He's a podcaster.
Yeah.
I was introduced as and it was just like anybody who gets introduced as a podcaster, the person's face goes, oh yeah. Oh. Okay. Just like, oof, I gotta go clean the bathroom now or whatever.
Right, yeah. Yeah.
I was just like, Yep. That's,
It's happened to me a couple times. Oh yeah, you're the oh god, you're the Anarchy Radio guy. I gotta go.
It's just, yeah. It's
You're a podcaster.
I'm just trying to think, what. I can't think of anything worse than podcaster. I mean, even a janitor. It's like, oh, you're a janitor. What kind of tools do you like? We have some things we try to play. Podcaster, it's like, I have no use for that at all.
We get touchy. Streaming entertainment. Thank you.
Yeah, I know. I know, right? I know. That was it. It's like, this person. It's just funny.
Yeah.
To wrap up our albums, speaking of which.
Yeah.
And more anniversaries, 1968.
Mm-hmm.
What about 1978?
Oh, wow.
40 years ago, Rock Lobster launched the career of the B-52s.
Please tell me that they're going to go out on a tour. Like their 40th anniversary tour.
They are. 1978. So not only do we... the thing is not only do we have 68, which was this huge year historically, 78 was a very, very big year culturally as well.
Yeah.
What year did B-52? Lots of big music, punk bands and things. Did we find out, was it Van Halen launched?
78? Yeah. That's their 40th. And there's a rumor mill. This got to me like late last night. And so you dig it up, take it with a grain of salt. But they've said that that is distinctly possible that during 2018 Van Halen will hit the road with Michael Anthony, David Lee Roth, and Sammy Hagar.
My gosh!
All of them had their one last trick. All right, I like Michael Anthony. Let's see, 78 wasn't that?
There's a lot of stuff.
Was that Hotel California? Was that?
Yeah, I think so.
When did Frampton Come Alive come out?
I'll give you the list.
Okay.
1978 in music. In fact, here's a little tip. Wikipedia is really good if you ever want to look at a list and go, when did those what was popular back in those days? You actually just all you got to do is 1978 in music on Wikipedia, and it'll tell you the events, albums released by the year. So 78, 40 years ago.
Okay.
The Sex Pistols play their final show.
Oh, yeah.
Elton John. Let's see. When does that one hit? Albums released. Here we go. This is what we want. XTC.
Oh, yeah.
White Music. Ted Nugent, Double Alive, Gonzo. Let's talk about a guy who's gone off the...
Talk about Gonzo.
Gordon Lightfoot. Ronnie Montrose, Open Fire.
Montrose.
Emmylou Harris, Rufus. Kenny Rogers, 10 Years of Gold. Waylon Jennings and Willie Nelson released Waylon and Willie.
Wow.
In January. Jefferson Starship Earth. Dusty Springfield. Judas Priest, Stained Class. Van Halen, that released in February.
Huge.
February 10th of 1978 was Van Halen's first album. Nina Hagen Band. Nina Hagen released. Kate Bush. Al Di Meola Casino. I had that.
Wow.
Huge fan. And actually, I saw Al Di Meola in 1978.
Wow. There you go.
No.
Wow.
No, I think I did. Macho Man by the Village People.
Yeah. Macho Man.
I'm just trying to see. Barry Manilow. Blondie.
Oh, wow, yeah.
The Tubes.
Yes.
What Do You Want from Live? Genesis. And Then There Were Three.
Ooh.
Oh, one of my favorite records.
Okay.
And totally 2018 inappropriate. Frank Zappa, Zappa in New York. Double live album of his New York show.
To me, Zappa always gets a pass, though.
That was a good album. That was a very, very, very good album. And the deal with that Zappa in New York album, it was coincided with his musical appearance on Saturday Night Live.
That's right.
So he was the musical guest on Saturday Night Live.
Dripping from the monitors.
Maybe. Yeah. He was the musical guest on Saturday Night Live, which was, by the way, 78 Saturday Night Live. Old school. And so then he did a series of shows in New York, and the Saturday Night Live band was the backing horn section for Zappa in New York. So the album's really good. It has like Tom Scott.
Wow.
On it.
All right, I'm gonna have to go listen to that.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Zappa, John Mellencamp, Robert Palmer, double fun. We were going through the Robert Palmer discography the other day.
Yeah.
England Dan and John Ford Cooley. Some things don't come easy. I want to say that. Double platinum Kiss. There you go.
Oh yeah.
Todd Rundgren. I don't know. Yeah. There's a lot of them. Television, whatnot. There's just a lot of
Kiss.
Big things. Of course, Springsteen.
78, dude. They not only released double platinum. Remember 78.
Darkness in the Edge of Town by Springsteen.
Right.
Frampton was 76.
Frampton Comes Alive. Okay, yeah.
AC/DC Power Age.
Yeah. But I remember Kiss. They released all 4 of their solo albums in 78. You know, each one was a little solo album.
The classic. Cheap Trick, Rita Coolidge, Kraftwerk, The Man Machine.
Kraftwerk.
Yeah. So there's a lot of music back then.
Yeah.
There's
a lot of good music.
Springsteen. Yeah. Anyway, UFO Obsession.
Ooh. Hey, what Cheap Trick album came out? Was that Budokan 78?
I just had it here. Heaven Tonight.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, so yeah, there was just a lot of Bob James, Touchdown. I believe that's the album that has is it Angie's theme? Yes, Angela, which is, you know what that one is? Theme to Taxi. It's the theme song to Taxi.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of records and a lot of bands and stuff.
Chuck Mangione.
But look it up. Look at just you can look up you can look up any of that on Wikipedia. You can type in a date and go, what was the music?
Yeah.
Man, we gotta go, and I gotta go.
Gotta go, yeah.
You know, I had a thing. I have presents for you.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, we should.
Yeah. Should we save it for Monday?
No, I don't think this will save. And I already dumped coffee on it. God, I don't even know what that. There's like a brown one in here.
Oh.
Here, you can look in there and do what you need to do.
This is a grab bag?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see it.
I ain't saying I'd eat it, but...
Yeah, fortune cookie.
Yeah, I brought you some fortune cookies.
Ooh.
From, I don't know, from like Chinese food that I had 2 weeks ago.
Like Wong's Garden?
Yeah.
I went to Wong's last night.
Love
Wong's Garden, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. I'm going to read my fortune.
That's what I thought.
Your Friday fortune is... You are both loyal and self-reliant. Right, my wife, self-reliant. She's like...
Both? You're with me. I don't know. Maybe they're talking about us.
Oh, okay.
You are both... Is that what it says?
In that case, okay.
Is that what it says?
Yeah, you are both loyal and self-reliant.
Oh, maybe that's a Coffee with Curmudgeons thing.
There we go.
Look at this. Look at this. I don't know what this is. Like there's 2 here.
Okay.
And this is like a kind of a we'll save that one for later.
Yeah, we'll save that one for the guest.
All right.
Okay,
let's see what this one says.
Okay.
Then we'll get out of here. Others appreciate your good sense of humor.
Hey,
that's not bad.
There you go.
We're both self-reliant, and others appreciate your good sense of humor.
There you go.
Those aren't bad Coffee with Curmudgeons.
No, that's not bad.
Curmudgeons fortunes. All right.
That's not bad fortune to make an exit on.
All right. Well, with that, I mean, I know there's stuff going on weekend or whatever, but we cover it.
We'll talk about it Monday.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
All right. So see you later. Yeah. Have a good weekend and stay safe, everybody.
Toodles.